That's it, Rich. Earphones on.
Yep.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Mancunian Way Thursday night chat. And yeah, great to have you all here, and great to have a good panel on. More will be joining us later, including Martin. Um, but big up to Rich and Ed. Gentlemen, how are you both?
Very good. Very good. Cannot
Doing
complain.
well.
Friday morning, end of the week. And yeah.
Always a good day. Always a good day when you see the U team do well. Can't be mad about that.
Yeah, no, definitely Ed. Martin was at the game this evening, watching the boys have a fantastic win. We'll briefly talk about that a little bit, but obviously the main subjects tonight are we're going to go over the Palace win, and we'll also delve into the FA Cup final at the weekend. So some big topics to discuss. Obviously, please comment. I will try and keep up with some of the comments. Obviously, I'm not as quick as Martin, but I'll do my very best. So thank you to everyone for being patient. But yeah, please, let us know what your thoughts and feelings are. Dash, I will put this up, mate, because obviously we all support what your link is there for the Samaritans. So yeah, anyone, please, if you can help in any way, even small donations are a big help. So big up to Dash, as he's just put under there. Well done to the lads at the under-18s for winning the FA Cup. McAdoo was on fire. Yes, he was. I only caught the last half an hour of the game. Ed, I think you caught all of it, and Rich was asleep, so he may catch up at some stage with it. But from what I saw, and great display from the lads, it looked pretty even. I think United players, probably might feel that they could have nicked it themselves, but the class that was on show from some of the youth players was absolutely brilliant. We've got some cracking talent in that youth, and it was absolutely brilliant because I think they weren't aware that I think the manager had told them that Pep was going to be watching tonight, and a lot of the boys as well from the squad. Phil Foden was there. I think Nathan Ake was there. I think Semenyo was there as well, and there were a few others. So yeah, it was really, I'm sure the pressure would have been onto those lads, thinking, Jesus, if you're looking up at the likes of Phil Foden and Pep Guardiola, I would imagine would have been quite a lot of pressure on them. But obviously, they got the win and they got the cup. So, and I would imagine it would have given maybe possibly food for thought for Pep with some of these young players. We know he's been looking, and we know he's brought through likes of O'Reilly. So there's no saying that some of those lads tonight might have impressed him enough to say, hey, next season let's get you into the first team and let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Do you think it's an interesting one? Do you think, like, obviously a Manchester derby, it's massive, but those kids, those United player kids, will never have known United being better than City. Their whole lives, they'll have looked up the league. They'll have looked at City winning titles, United battling around mid-table. They'll have looked at City winning trophy after trophy after trophy, and United picking one up every few years. And those City players will have grown up knowing every year of their lives they're better than United, that City are a better club than United, we're better at the youth level, better at the other level. How much do you think that plays into a game like that? Just that total feeling of supremacy which the City players at that age must have. How much does that play in? And because I think, years ago, if you go back 20 years, the shoe was on the other foot, back when even I was young. How much does that play into things like that? Just that feeling that we're better than them, we know we're going to win.
Well, I think it just goes back into the investment we've made into our youth teams. I know we talk a lot about, spending money on some of these youth players and put them in the EDS or send them out on loan. I think it just goes to show what the leadership at City, how much they emphasize youth development. And I think I read a stat that before 2020, we didn't win the Youth FA Cup except for like twice, and now we won it 3 in the last 6 years. So I think it just shows, what we've been building up to. And I think that also breeds confidence, knowing that you have the best resources available to you, knowing that, if you can make a name here, you can almost go anywhere.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rich. I think it does play on some of those players for United. As Ed was saying, we have dominated. Not only in the Premier League but in the under 18s and below that. A lot of these kids that are coming through the academies and doing so well and winning trophies. It's gonna have an effect because, as you said, Rich, a lot of these players would have never have seen United really win any of the big trophies. Yes, they've won an FA Cup and they've won the Europa League. But when we're talking about the Premier League and the Champions League, and not even competing really for the Premier League or even the Champions League. So the tables have turned, and it's definitely showing that City's academy, that we are able to go all across the world and pick some of the best young players. And some players, as we know, don't always make it at City. They don't always get into the first team. I think that's been one of the big criticisms during Pep's reign, is that we've not seen enough of those players come through. And we've made that case on this channel a lot, where we've let really talented players go. We've seen what they've done, the likes of Morgan Rogers. Was one, and there are, Palmer was another that people would argue. So, and there are others out there that are having good careers. And I think that's one of the things that we can definitely say about the academy, is that even if you don't make it at City, there's a good chance that you can go out there and make it somewhere else. If it's not going to be the Premier League, it'll be somewhere in Europe. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is something that we've always said to these kids, is that you can definitely have a career going through us, and it's brilliant. And not only that, I mean, as we've pointed out several times, it does help with selling these young players at a profit. It helps the club ultimately, but I think we definitely like to see some of these young players come through, because I just think the likes of McAdoo showed what talent he's got. Do you know what I mean? The Heskey brothers, Samba as well. Do you know what I mean? These players where I think some of them possibly could have a future in the first 11. It's just we'll have to see really, but I would definitely like to see some of them coming to the first. And we know McAdoo actually had some time during this season playing with the senior squad, but I'd like to see some of the others give a chance as well. So
I think
it's just hard. I mean, because we take the cup seriously, and we've got a good chance of winning both the cups this year because we take them seriously, and that's one of the problems with giving many of the kids a chance, is that the clubs who do that widely don't go very far in the cups, so they can't use them, and it's difficult. And I think they've become almost more for us a chance to give Trafford, Savinio, Gonzalez and very good first team players who are on the bench have become almost a chance to give them football and keep them sharp for the first team, and that does take away, apart from I think Exeter and Salford, a few things like that, we've had a bit of that, but it does make it a bit tricky.
Yeah, I know for me, when I watched the match, it was the standout players for me were probably the two wingers, McAdoo and I think it's Jaden Heskey. I think it's Jaden Heskey. I mean, causing havoc all game. And I know we've been talking about wingers, so they might get opportunity. Who knows? But man, they're a problem, man. They're a problem.
Yeah, And it was really good to see Heskey in the stands, absolutely just loving seeing his boys play for this club. The talent they've got, the pair of them, both Heskey brothers, is definitely something to kind of say. The players from the past, and Heskey's not the only, former Premier League player that's got kids at the academy. Do you know what I mean? I mean, for a while, was it Darren Fletcher? Am I remembering that right? I feel like it was Darren. It could have been one of the other United players, but I swear there was him. It was one of those players from the 92 that had his kids at the City Academy.
Oh, quite a few of them did. Robin Van Persie did for a time. I think Rooney did for a time. Fletcher did. So there were a few who, at a certain age, had their kids in the academy. I'm pretty sure Van Persie's went back into Holland or somewhere, and
because he took
and Rooney's kid moved. But yeah, there was definitely a few in the City Academy at one time.
Yeah, which shows, do you know what I mean, how far United have fallen. Do you know what I mean? I think they've had some, standout academy kids that have come through. I mean, they've always had this kind of, which is great for them. And it's one of the things that I have found a bit jealously, that they do really try and bring through a lot of their young players.
Kobe,
give them a chance. Yeah, exactly. Kobe Mainu. So I really, really, I mean, the thing since Sheikh came in was that he was going to turn that academy into La Masia, like the Barcelona of the Premier League. Bringing in some of the top talent from not only the UK but also from around the world, and then try and basically have our own kind of class of '92 kind of thing that would come through, and it would be all academy players. Now, I think it's so difficult because when you're at the top, and we've had such dominant teams over the last probably decade, that it's really hard for some of these academy kids. They've got to be absolutely special to get into the first team. But I think over the last couple of years, we have seen Pep be a bit more, he's looked at some of these academy kids. Think of Rico Lewis, who are now, when he first came through, we were all raving about him. We were all like, he could be a future star. And sadly, it hasn't worked out for him. But, O'Reilly recently, Foden before that. Do you know what I mean? So there is some excellent talent. And I just really hope that Pep is really going to try and bring some of these players through. So, but we'll see ultimately.
Well, I think, Oz, we talk about this all the time, right? Like, not only do they have to worry about the first team players, but now, what we've known recently with buying these foreign youth players and kind of sending them out on loan at other clubs. That's also a competitor they have to worry about too when you think about first team minutes, because some of these players we are putting a lot of money behind when you're talking about the Hazes of the worlds. And even, I know it's up in the air, but, we're heavily linked to a youngster out in Germany, and thinking about loaning him to Leverkusen if that comes through. 16-year-old midfielder. That's another competition for some of these guys. So,
yeah, no, definitely. I can't remember his name, the player you talk about. Yeah, the young German boy. He's playing in the second division of the German league, and I think he's only 16, but he's built like a bit of a man already. He looks that kind of age, and he's doing really well. And yeah, City are heavily linked, so as well as a few other clubs out there, I think Bayern Munich are kind of pushing.
It's between us and Bayern.
Yeah, from everything I've heard. I won't lie, like I haven't seen a great deal of him. I only heard about him a few weeks back, that City were looking at him. But from the clips I've seen, he looks decent. He's been kind of, what I think the players, like he's been kind of said that he kind of looks like the what was his face who played for Real Madrid, the German player,
Tony
Kroos. That was what somebody had said apparently. I can see the elements, but again, it's difficult to tell from kind of little clips on YouTube. But yeah, it is difficult when you are getting these players in. But I think one of the big things that's probably changed recently, and I won't go too much into it, but obviously since the UK kind of left the European Union, it's more difficult for us to get work permits and stuff like that. So I think we do have to look more at some of the talent that's in the UK rather than abroad so much. But yeah. Right. Shall we move on to last night's game, gentlemen? Great win. Dominant display. I'd like to kind of go for the team to begin with, because I think none of us would have guessed that team lineup, to be honest. I don't think anybody at all, any City fan, would have said, yeah, that's definitely the team that's starting. I think most of us thought it was going to be one or two changes possibly, but no, Pep really went out and did quite a few changes. So it was Donnarumma in net, Nunes, Kuzov, Gahey, and Josko was back, which definitely did not see coming.
The forgotten man, Josko.
Yeah.
Considering he was our best player last season, and I think he's head and shoulders our best defender, he's almost been forgotten by a lot of City fans the last few months. I found it bizarre. People talk about next year's centre-back partnership and not talking about Josko. I mean, you know, great to see him back, and great to see him back for him before the World Cup.
And Rich, people were asking, well, will we be in a better position if we had Josko when he was out? And it's like, yeah, of course.
Well,
of course
honestly, if we'd have had Josko against Everton, we wouldn't have lost that game. They wouldn't have been able to physically dominate our defence like they did in the second half until we went 2 down and then we started playing. I think if Josko had played, I don't think we'd have lost that game against Everton.
It's a big shout, Rich. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I think physically he's just a lot stronger and a bit better in the air than Kuzanov and Gay. I think he'd have added a lot, and even if he's playing left back, he'd have added a lot defensively in terms of his true defensive quality over Nico. But that's it's what it is. I think he wasn't fit, c'est la vie, but I think we've got him back now.
Yeah. We'll get more into that when Martin's on, because I don't think he's going to be long. He's already put something in the chat. What's he put? Excuse me, there would be more.
Don't mention, he says, don't mention agendas, Ozzy. I don't like it when you do that.
Well, I will, because, I don't care what he says. If I see them, I'm going to call them out. Sorry. Not sorry.
Well, we got to talk about a major man that wasn't in the squad eventually.
We will do. Anyway, I'll just go for the rest of the lineup, and then we'll get into the match, and obviously we'll get into the individual players. Bernardo Silva, Foden, Savinho, Aït-Nouri, and Marmush and Semenyo. I mean, we've just touched on Josko. I agree with Rich in the respects of, like, it showed what we've missed from him being out. I think going into next season, like, our back line, just for centre backs looks immense. Like, I think Arsenal can say they've got the best defence in the league, this season. But I think next season, with that back four, just for central defenders, is just immense. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, wow. He's got to put. Yes, I do. I have 5 posters of Nico G on my walls. Yeah. So, anyway, we'll get into it then, because Marty's decided that he's got to have a little on the keyboard. I've got to have my little agendas, and we listen. We know he doesn't like Nico G. He's never liked Nico G.
He's been looking up at his row of posters. Pep's gone. Rodri's gone.
So he's always had a massive agenda since Nico came in. And I'm just going to say this. Yes, he was missing last night. It doesn't seem it looks good for his future at City with the way things that he wasn't at the squad.
Well,
Pep really didn't give a proper answer of why he wasn't. So the writing could be on the wall. But all I'm going to say is, in his defence, is that I think a lot of Blues are forgetting what he did at the beginning of the season. You know, through halfway at the beginning of the season, he was probably one of our best players. He put in a brilliant shift.
Sadly,
he wasn't in the squad.
But he and Pep he seems to have forgotten it himself, and Pep seems to have forgotten it. I don't know. You know, it's something.
Hey, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? But
as soon as City did that video of them going out for tapas, I thought this is a propaganda job on the two Spanish midfielders. You know, it was really quite bizarre. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Rich, you said they did a hit piece.
That's Rich's conspiracy theory. I'm sure Martin has more conspiracy theories that he'll come up with later, because we know, like I said, he's got a big agendas against Nico G. So, what can I say? You know, like I said, for me, I think a lot of City fans are forgetting what he did at the beginning of the season. Listen, if he doesn't have a future at City, then fair enough. Do you know what I mean? I still think he's a good player. He's not at the Roger levels. I've never said he has been. But, you know, he's definitely a good squad player. And I think it would be a shame to lose him in the summer if he decides and the club decides that the future isn't at City. So it is what it is. But, yeah. I mean, just going through the game, what were your thoughts, Rich? You know?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, first and foremost, yeah, the first thought I had was, wow, we're prioritising the FA Cup final. Had we beaten Everton, I think we'd have seen an absolutely different 11 in that game, and I think we'd have seen the 11 that played against Palace probably playing at Wembley, maybe with a few changes. But you know, it's interesting now. We're going to see an absolute, you know, best 11 we can put out at Wembley, almost certainly. My thoughts of the last, you know, this game was little bit of a continuation of the other games. You know, we actually, you know, created some good chances. I think for me, Marmush has shown in the last few games, coming off the bench and starting, why he's good enough to be in our squad. I think he's looked, his movement's been good. He's looked sharp. It's just Pep has to figure out a way to play him in the same team as Haaland, because I do agree, because I think Marmush walks into any team, you know, I said it on Blues Down Under, but possibly with the exception of Liverpool because of Ekitike and Isaac, although there, you know, there's injuries there. I think he walks into any team in the Premier League and starts for them. I think he starts centre forward for United. He starts centre forward for Chelsea. He starts centre forward for anyone. You know, and I think he'd have a shout of getting in most of Europe's top teams as well. So Pep he's a brilliant player, and Pep needs to figure out, you know, how to play him in the same team as Haaland. And I think, you know, that's on Pep and the coaching staff and on Marmush working to figure that one out, because I think he's good enough to do it. I think we've seen, you know, from Reinders and from Gonzalez, a real, you know, for those two, you know, they must think the writing's on the wall. Phil's back. Doku has been ending the season superb, and I think he's going to be the exciting player heading into the World Cup. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the World Cup. Josko's back, which gives us that massive dilemma about how we get Josko. Josko, for me, would be the first name on the team sheet in defence. But when you've got Diaz and Gay and Kuzanov and Ait-Nouri and O'Reilly and, you know, Nunes has had a good season, we might sign a right back. How's Pep going to figure that one out? Is someone going to go into midfield? Yes. So I think there's been a lot of really interesting things. And I think, you know, biggest one for me is, you know, haven't we, is it unbeaten since early Feb or something now? Or we lost one game. Yeah. We lost one game in like,
I think it was 17 games unbeaten.
You know, we've ending the season fantastically. You know, it looks like we won't get over Arsenal, though I'm not writing it off by any means. I think football has a funny habit of some strange things, and I think, you know, if Arsenal get an early goal, it'll be really, really comfortable. But if they go half an hour without scoring, you start to get the edginess that we saw in 2012 against QPR, getting into the fan base there, because like us in 2012, there's not much living memory of them actually winning titles and stuff among a lot of the fans at the game. So I think it's got a very exciting week. I think, you know, I would like to see Rodri back for the FA Cup final though. Because originally I wanted to rest him for the FA Cup final because we needed him for all the games, but then he's been injured, hasn't played them all. So, you know, if anything, Rodri being back in the FA Cup finals is much about having him back for Bournemouth and Villa. Because, you know, even though we played really well, I'm not quite convinced on, you know, midfields of, you know, Bernardo and Aït-Nouri, or, you know, Josko, or, you know, various permutations that seem to appear for 5 minutes at a time last night.
Yeah. No, I mean, there were definitely instances in that midfield where, I mean, Bernardo gave the ball away a few times really sloppily. I was getting a bit like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? I mean, he improved massively as the game went on. But that midfield was worrying me at times, just that it was so open. But really, if we're being honest, you know, Palace barely laid a glove. And a lot, obviously,
they did have a couple of good chances. I mean, Donnarumma showed his shot-stopping ability a couple of times with one particularly brilliant save from Donnarumma. And I think we saw, whereas against Everton, I'd criticised that we saw the worst aspects of Donnarumma's game. Against Palace, we saw the best aspects of his game in that when someone's shooting from 10 yards out, he looks unbeatable.
Yeah. I mean, I think we do have to kind of... I saw some of it, like being said last night and today about Donnarumma and just that sloppiness, you know, of passing the ball out. And I think I raged at that point when he did that. I was just like, what's he doing? But I mean, I put in our group chat, didn't I? I said, you know, does he just get bored sometimes? You just think, I want a bit of a challenge. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels that way. I mean, Edison used to be a bit the same as well. Like, he would have crazy moments. But I know this.
He was the coolest, calmest. You know, he had ice in his veins, Edison. I think, and I think that's the problem with the Donnarumma, is that he's not strong at that passing out, but he is coming in behind the goalkeeper, who I think is probably the best in the history of football in goal at playing the ball with his feet. I don't think I've seen a goalkeeper, not Neuer, not, you know, Bravo, not Alisson, none of them come close to Edison. Edison was just exceptional. I think the best goalkeeper, certainly top goalkeeper, because I'm sure there's some like midfielder who plays in goal for some team, and there's maybe that guy at Sao Paulo who scored 80 goals or something in goal, who played 1,000 games, maybe him. But Edison is certainly the best I've ever seen in the Premier League, and coming after that, it makes it look worse than it would if he was playing at any other club.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to remember Donnarumma, since he came to the club, he's probably just behind David Raya, you know, like for saves, big saves. Do you know what I mean? And I think David Raya will probably end up winning the Golden Glove. But, you know, I think if Donnarumma may have started the season, you know, he may have had a shout. But, you know, in all honesty, I think we forget like some of the big saves that he has produced for the team. Yeah. And in his first season, I don't think he's having a bad season at all. I think he's having a pretty damn good one, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think his goalkeeping, his shot stopping, and that sort of thing is exceptional. He's just not that great at corners and taking the ball in the air, and he's not as physically dominant as you expect from a keeper his size, and he's not as great passing. But you know, his his passing hasn't, he obviously had the shocker the other week against Arsenal, but he hasn't actually cost us too many goals with his. It's not like we're giving up a goal every second game. Probably that one against Arsenal is about maybe one of two this season, and and his ability in the air hasn't cost us that massively. He's been able to punch it away. Usually, we haven't conceded loads, but we have seen moments in the last few weeks, which is, I think, why the Trafford agenda is big. Where against Everton, he did look uncertain in the air, and that cost us, at least one goal. And then we saw that error against Arsenal, and so they've really stood out in everyone's mind at the end of the season. But it's not like there's 10 examples of each, where we've let in goals.
No, and even David Raya, for as brilliant as he's been this season for Arsenal, there's been moments where he's been shaky. There's been moments where even the Arsenal fans have called him out for times.
I think Raya for me is a little bit overhyped. I read so often about how Raya is so much better than Donnarumma, partly because most Arsenal fans seem to think Raya is about 3 years younger than Donnarumma, when I think he's actually 4 or 5 years older. And I think because Donnarumma's been so big a name in goalkeeping for so long, everyone forgets just how young he is. And, he's not at his prime in goalkeeping years. He's still pre his prime, whereas Raya is at his absolute prime. And I think, honestly, if you look at what Raya and Donnarumma were doing at the same age, Donnarumma was winning Champions League when Raya was, trying to get a move from Blackburn. So I think there's a lot of hype. And, Don has shown, I think last season's Champions League, he won it for PSG. He was unbelievable.
Does seeing how the team play with changes, would you guys be more comfortable with seeing something similar to that if we do go Bournemouth away after the FA Cup final with that short turnaround?
I think it's the last week of the season. I think he picks the best 11 he can. Now, that he rotates if he thinks a player isn't able to play, that someone is tired, and, possibly if Rodri comes back in the FA Cup final, he's not ready to turn around and play 3 days later. Possibly Bernardo, I don't know. But I think we've got to play the strongest 11 now in... I was all for resting players a few weeks ago, but we've done it now. We rested against Palace. That's given us that day of rest for the players. Now it's just pick whatever team you think is going to beat the opposition. And, I'd expect Erling to play all three. I'd, expect, assuming O'Reilly's fit, to play all three. I think we'll be playing our best players.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Alan's put in the chat 18 trophies in the centre circle. Yes, Alan, we saw that ourselves, and it's been doing the rounds this afternoon.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Just quickly, we'll get more into it later, but it is literally for Bernardo. It's apparently for Bernardo. It's not for Pep. It's nothing to do with Pep.
I mean,
Ryan might come with his agendas later, and Tone might put something in the chat.
I tend to believe that City are pretty secretive. They're pretty guarded. I don't think City would go and film something for Pep that is so obvious and seen by people. I think if they're filming for Pep, they'll have been far more surreptitious, far more sneaky about it, and I mean, I guess I said, Ozzy, my belief's been this year that if we somehow go and win the treble, I think there was a danger of Pep going, but I just don't think he goes on a season we don't win the league. I think Ferguson was out. He'd said he was gone and everything else. City win the league, and it's like, no, I'm not having my career ending on that note. And I think Pep's a bit the same. I think Pep will be like, no, I'm coming around again.
But something, because I do got to transfer over to my phone, but something I also want to highlight was also how Haaland was
smiling and clapping off Marmush. I think there is a camaraderie there. You know, sometimes you see tension with a backup and a starter and things like that, and they're not celebratory over each other. So it was good to see, you know, them hugging it out, and Harlan asking for claps and stuff for Marmush too, because Marmush, you know, we all know the level he can provide for us.
Yeah, no, totally, Ed. I think you're right. Like, Marmush is, as Rich was saying as well earlier, like, he is an excellent player. You know, he's probably too good to be Haaland's backup, if we're being brutally honest. To have him as only backup is just brilliant. But at the same time, you know, if I'm being brutally honest, I'm not sure he has a future realistically at the club. Do you know what I mean? As much as I would love to keep him, because having him backing up Erling, if we needed him, you can't go far wrong. You know, he can be clinical at times. He has been quite wasteful this season, these chances, but I suppose he's not had a regular amount of time of being in the first 11. You know, but you could understand that he would be unhappy. He would be wanting to have more first-team football, but at the end of the day, he knew what was happening when he first joined the club. Do you know what I mean? You know, Haaland was already here. You know, it was just, he knew what he was walking into. The problem for Marmush is that even if he wants to leave, he's on big wages, and the transfer fee that City would want, only a handful of clubs probably in Europe can really afford. You know what I mean? And with those big clubs, we're talking about other rivals in the Premier League, realistically, because the Premier League is really where the money is. And we're not really going to want to sell to any rivals if we don't have to.
I think I almost think it has to be the Premier League, because I don't see, you know, all the talk about Barca is Alvarez. And if they're getting Alvarez, then Marmush isn't an option. I don't think Real Madrid's problems isn't going to be solved by signing another forward. Real Madrid need a real, you know, they need to sign some real character. You know, the one player I'm worried about going to Real Madrid, or the sort of player, is someone like Bernardo now. And even you know, if Jose comes in, them really going for Rodri, because I think they need some mature adults. They need some grown-ups in their team, and I think they clearly lack grown-ups in their team. They clearly lack proper team characters. They clearly lack a team ethic. And I think, you know, if Jose's in there, he's going to have to get some characters in who can just stop the pathetic, egotistical nonsense that we see from Real Madrid all the time. You know, I'd be gutted to see, you know, Bernardo and Rodri sully themselves going to such a club, but, you know, it would be, you know, that could happen. So Marmush, to me, it can only go in this country, but the issue is we wouldn't sell to Arsenal. Arsenal desperate. I mean, he's levels better than Gyökeres, Marmush. Levels, like, you know, it's like comparing, you know, Nicholas Bentner and Sergio Aguero. You know, comparing those two. But we wouldn't sell to Arsenal. We wouldn't sell to Liverpool. We wouldn't sell to United. Maybe we'd sell to Chelsea
I think
Chelsea, Villa. Well, Villa, because they've got an Egyptian owner, and they desperately need that player. But would Villa pay 300 grand a week? I think that's a big question. If they're in the Champions League, they can maybe afford it, but it would mean a total change of character to them. But they you know, they'll be in the Champions League. They've got a great manager. They've got an Egyptian owner. There's a lot there. But I think he may end up staying, because I think we're under no pressure to sell him. You know, and
I think, Rich, I think it's if he wants to leave, I think it's going to have to be an Alvarez deal, where Alvarez has to go out there and get a club to come to the table and negotiate with City, because otherwise I just don't see it myself. I agree with you. I don't see it. I tell you what, the one club where I could see him possibly going, I could see him possibly going to PSG, and the reason I say that is because with I think they're going to have some exits in the summer, and I just feel that possibly they may be looking for more of a striker, and I think he would probably do quite well at PSG.
And they could pay him They could afford his
pay his
wages.
wage.
Yeah, and they could afford him. So that's possibility. But I just, I think in a way that it's, you know, it's going to be interesting because it's not so much paying us £60 million, whatever we want for him, and possibly more. It's that he's on 300 grand a week. So someone, only the very wealthiest teams in Europe, you know, and the wealthiest teams in the Premier League can play that. So when you look from his point of view, he wants a team at City's level. He's going to win trophies, be playing in Europe and all that. And we want someone who's going to pay him 300 grand a week and pay us 60 million. You get to a very, very narrow field. And, you know, a lot of that field don't have needs in that position unless something happens. But, you know, I mean, you know, it could happen tomorrow. Harry Kane could say, I'm homesick. I want to go back to England. And, you know, then suddenly you've got a team like Bayern who need it. But at the moment, it doesn't look like it. You know, Real Madrid could have a massive clear out. You know, Jose could come in and say, actually, Mbappe and, you know, Bellany and you know, Vicinius, you're all egotistical brats. I'm going to sell you because you think you're bigger than the club, and I'm not interested in that nonsense. And then Real Madrid have loads of money to spend.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get on to. I mean, Real Madrid are a bastard
you know,
place for a club, but so are the club will be playing the weekend. I mean, Chelsea, and we'll get onto them later. But let's carry on about the players from last night's game because you know we talked about Marmush. Obviously, Semenyo got back onto the score sheet. I think at the beginning of the half, like I think he wasn't particularly great. Not that he was bad, but I just don't think he got into the game as much. But then, you know, he got his goal, and I think he just improved as the game went on for me. I think, you know, there was a lot of criticism over the last few weeks about him, you know, not scoring, but, you know, again, he's only just come into the side and he brings so much talent. You know, he is a goal scorer. And I just think, you know, what he's done for half a season has been brilliant. Next season, I'm just looking forward to him even more so because I just think he's such a talented player. And he can put the ball in the back of the net. So, and you could look at him as possibly being a replacement for Haaland if Haaland needs a rest or is injured. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he can play for the middle if needs be. So yeah, again, brilliant to see him on the score sheet last night. And again, another goal scorer, Savinho, got his goal.
He had some good moments.
He had some good moments, but I'm going to be brutally honest. I still really am not sure that he's got a future at City. You know,
it depends a lot on the player to me because I actually think this season. I'm going to be honest though, Rich.
Yeah. Being honest, I think you're right. He's got so much talent. There's no denying that. You know, he's great on the ball. He can do some brilliant runs. He can cross the ball at times, but for me, he's just still struggling to get it in his, you know, head what Pep is probably trying to tell him. I think Pep really likes the kid.
Yeah, because I think Pep thinks. I think he's a kid, and I think he's the sort of player who, if we let him go, he is going to be, you know, a 70, 80, 90 Brazilian capped player, really doing it. I think he's got all the talent to do it. Where I think he's been useful this season, I don't think he's got enough credit from City fans. He has been really useful off the bench. I think he's been, to me, coming off the bench, running the ball, you know, taking the ball from our half and going deep. I think he's made a real difference in that. You know, obviously he needs to come and start cutting it in the big games, but I think he's got the talent. I think with him it's time, and I felt exactly the same. Like, it's done my head in the amount of abuse Doku's taken over his City career, because I think it's quite obvious from day one of Doku that he had so much talent, that he was, from a standing start, there isn't a better player in world football at making a move. That he can run fullback's rabbit, but he had to get the you know, the assists and the finishes, but he's got the talent. And, you know, a lot of people would have sold Doku 2 years ago. but he
Yeah,
won't.
I'm sorry.
Mind you, Valverde might. Yeah, depends what happens with all these investigations. You know, but you know,
Listen, I mean,
I don't see it being Valverde who's Real Madrid's problem. I think there's about 20 players ahead of him who are Real Madrid's problem.
He's been mine and Pat's player that we'd love to have at City, but I just don't see him leaving Real Madrid, sadly. But yeah, I get where you're coming from, Rich, and it's like, yes, he's young, yes, there's a lot of talent there, but I'm going to be honest. When it comes to next season, we've got on the wings, we've got Savinho, Doku, and Semenyo. Because I can't put Marmush on the wing because he may not be here, and he's not a winger. And Pep's tried him on the wings. It doesn't really work. So we've got 3 wingers there now. Semenyo, like I said, I think he's going to have a fantastic season next season. I think he's going to bag more goals. But then if he gets an injury or has some time out, then you're relying on Savinho again. And Doku has improved. I mean, he's been brilliant this season for me. You know, I think he's been one of our best players. But again, you know, he's only just started getting the more assists and especially more goals. So going into next season, my worry is that we're not going to have that threat from the wings. So for me, I think City do need to either, if you're going to keep Savinho, I still think you've got to go and get another winger. I think you've got to go and get another winger that's going to produce more goals. Do you know what I mean? For me, I think that's important. If we're going to challenge in all the big competitions next season, because right now we haven't challenged, and that's, for me, that's one of the reasons we haven't got on to, you know, like the Champions League and stuff, is because we just haven't had that attacking threat when we've needed it more so. So I think if going into next season, you're going to need more than just Savinho. You're going to have to bring in somebody else because his numbers just aren't good enough at the moment. So if he's going to be a project player for another season, then I think you've got to bring somebody else in.
Yeah, only if people go. I tend to think if you've got Haaland and Marmush stays, and then you've got Doku and Semenyo, you've got Phil, you've got Cherky, you've got Savinho. I think that's enough attacking talent. I think the weakness in our attack is that Pep hasn't figured out how to get Marmush and Haaland working together. Because I don't believe this agenda that they can't play together. I don't think there's many players on earth, if they're really talented, who can't.
Yeah, but where'd you play him, Rich? That's the problem.
I think you
can't play him in the number 10 because if you're gonna that stops Cherky.
No, I think you can play him. You play him. I think you can play him right or left. You don't have to play as an out-and-out winger.
Over Semenyo and Doku.
Yeah, but not every game. We're talking about. I'm not talking about.
He's been on the wings though, Marmush. He's not done it enough.
Well,
when he had that chance on the wings,
he did. I think he actually did last season. I think he showed quite a bit of potential last season.
Not this season, though, Richard. He's had chances.
No, not this season, but he hasn't had many chances this season. He got injured. He was out for ages. He's not really been given much of a chance this season to do it. And I see absolutely no reason he can't do every bit a good role. And he's running in behind, creating space, or create space for Haaland. I think I think
he's not obviously 150, mate. He's seriously
he's on over 300. Yeah. He is like our 4th highest earner. We really did a massive deal, and it's unfortunately, fortunately, if he was on 150, it would be a much easier situation because there'd be plenty of clubs offering him 200. But he's not. He's on big wages.
He is. Honestly, he's on big wages, mate. It's 300. I know that much. I don't know the exact figure, but it's around the 300 mark. So, yeah. So, and obviously we've got to talk about the man of the match because, I called it man of the match before they announced it. I'm sure most City fans did as well. But Phil Foden last night. Rich, that was the Phil Foden we know from old. Do you know what I mean? That is the Phil Foden of Premier League Player of the Season, a couple of seasons ago. That is the Foden we know that when he's on his game, he's immense. He's just absolutely brilliant. He was running some of the show last night and got those 2 assists. And those, I mean, I can't remember who said it now on the presenting panel, but one of them turned around and said that could be the assist of the season. And I agree that back flick to Semenyo was absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is, when Phil is at his best, he is a player that is just, for me, undroppable at times. And I think, when Cherky obviously didn't start, and I think that was the right thing to do from Pep, because I think he sat Cherky down and gone. There's times where Cherky just, he's a young player, he's so talented, but I think he forgets that, even when you're not playing the so-called bigger teams, you still need to show up and you need to still put everything into a game. And that's something that he will get better at, he will develop, and Pep will get that into him. But Phil knows this. Phil knows that, playing a Crystal Palace on Wednesday night, under the lights, you've got to show up and you've got to play at your best. Do you know what I mean? So, and he did. He absolutely showed up and was absolutely brilliant. And I know there was a lot of talk about the World Cup as well and whether he features. And listen, I'm not fussed if he doesn't. I only care if Phil cares that he wants to be in that squad and he feels ready to be in that squad. Otherwise, if he still wants to summer off, then I think he still deserves it. Do you know what I mean? If that's what he needs going into next season, because that's what, as City fans, we want Phil to be at his best playing for City, not so much England. But, that's just the non-England fan in me in some respects, because I'm not as fussed when it comes to England. But that's just me. What are your thoughts, Rich?
About what, Cherky and
Phil.
Foden? Phil.
No, just Foden.
Yeah, just Foden. Oh, love him. What can I say? He's one of all our favourite players. He's a magnificent talent. He's a talent who can be even more influential and better than he's been. He's obviously had some troubles. I don't think it's any of our business what they are, but he's had his troubles. And, if we get him back, we get back one of the best players in the Premier League, as almost like a new signing next season. I think that back heel was phenomenal. I think it was just absolute perfection, the pace on it to get that goal to break open the game. I think he had a smile on his face. He came off with a smile on his face, and it was brilliant to see, because there's no one at the club we want more to succeed. There's no one at the club who we think has more talent. So, yeah, fantastic. Even that, to me, in some ways, as stupid as it sounds, seeing Phil back happy playing well means as much to me as if we were going to win the league. It's it's what football's about.
Yeah,
he's one of us.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely put, for me, some of the doubters wrong. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sorry, but the people who are doubting Phil Foden give your head a wobble. Like, as Rich said, he's had some issues off the field that he needs to deal with. It's not of our business what those were. We've just all hoped that he would get through it and find his way back into the first 11 and more just find happiness that he wants to. Because we know when Phil's at his happiest, he plays better. You just see the enjoyment, the enthusiasm that comes when he's playing at his best, when he's happy. And he definitely looked happy last night. Do you know what I mean? He really looked happy, celebrating those goals for his assists that he got. So, yeah, it was great to see the old Phil back in that respects. Good evening, Martin. Back from the FA Cup Youth Final. Give you a minute. Yeah, finish your fag or whatever you're doing. I think overall, when it comes to the game last night, I think most of the players did pretty well. Substitutes wise, I was really happy with Aki coming on. I think did a brilliant job. Aki's just so solid. Do you know what I mean? And part of me wants him to stay next season because one, not only for his experience, I think he can be a bit of a leader as well. But just as a player, he's been immense for this club. So it'd be really sad to see if he does go. Doku coming on as well. Didn't have to really do a lot, but again, he just came on and showed his excellence when he played. Kovacic, again, moments. And then Cherky with the assist for Savinho and Stones. Johnny Stones coming on. Rich, I know you want to get into a bit of Johnny Stones when we talk about
too late. Should have been brought on after 5 minutes. Up front.
We know.
As soon as we went 1-0 up, he should have been playing striker.
It's enough of that crap. Right, let's move on. Sorry, what? Sorry, carry on, Rich. We had some technical difficulties there.
Yeah. I just said start him up front. Play him number 9.
Still having technical difficulties at the moment.
Dear, oh dear.
When you stop saying shit, I'm gonna bring you back. Play him up front.
Give him a chance in net. Do
you ever have a serious, objective conversation on John Stones?
No.
Okay. Just so I know.
I thought you already knew that, Martin.
Well, I'm just checking. Big up, everyone. We did it! Take that, you red bastards. You did all that during the week. You've given all that, bitching about attendances, bitching about stadiums, trying to do your big thing on the Nexham Bridge like you're on the M62. What's that about? Sticking a flag on the Nexham Bridge and setting your flares off. What do you think it is, the M60? Give over, lads. Go home. Half of them haven't seen Old Trafford in their life. Anyway, no. Screw it. And I'm sick of hearing that song, You and I, TD. You know, piss off with that.
That
Nick Jackson was there. He'll tell you that was the only song he bloody
with
sang.
a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a rag alone. Ocean Finance on the phone.
I didn't think he was going to start singing. No, carry on. I'll come to the Youth Cup final in a minute. Because I've had a great evening.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we were just wrapping up with the game from last night, to be fair, Martin. So we briefly touched upon the FA Cup final with the youth team, and we congratulated them. I caught the last half an hour-ish of the game. Ed, who was on earlier, said that he watched it all.
I was going to say, where's Ed gone?
Yeah, he was having some technical issues. He was swapping from his laptop to his phone. He hasn't come back, but
no, it was really good. First versus second in the league. Manchester Derby. There's been a lot of controversy talked about all week about it from the other side, bitching because they wanted it at the Swamp. Tough titty, said the kidder. Listen, I'm not going to sit there and say United are a bad team. Thought for the first half it was a very even game. Second half, it was all City, really. I mean, there was one player I liked from the United team, which was is it Gabriel fella?
Yeah.
Looks a lively lad. It was just weird because you're looking at Kieran Branthwaite and all them who was captain tonight, which is so weird when you saw last season him making his debut in the League Cup. When was he 16 or whatever? And you're then watching him lifting the league. The Samba lads, which, if anyone doesn't know, anyone remembers Chris Samba, the centre back who used to play for Blackburn, those are his lads. Heskett, Emil Heskey was. What was nice is Emil Heskey was there tonight. Pep was there tonight. Oh, yeah. Pep was in a box.
Half the squad were there by the looks of it.
Semenyo was there. Diaz were there. Foden was there. And that's. People keep asking me why people going about Foden. That's why. Because nights like tonight is where Foden began. And you see it coming through. O'Reilly, etc. That's what the academy means. You come through, you see them, and it's just brilliant to say. It really does fill your heart. Yeah, I get, the only down part of it wasn't full. Sad part about it, there was a lot of empty seats again. I mean, I'm going to say the same thing I said about the women's. The youth game and the women's game is still trying to take off at our club. popularity-wise. I think it's taken off from a team-wise, but from a popularity standpoint, I don't think it's there still. Everyone is getting excited about that. But there's some great performances, you know.
There's also
Tyrone Samba, by the way.
volume.
What?
Yeah.
Kevin De
Volume
Bruyne
of
put
football.
a free kick in. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Yeah, that was a great free kick.
Sorry, go on, Rich.
I think one thing everyone's forgetting is United have played about 4 games in 2026. They decided not to play in the cup competitions. They decided not to play in Europe. So they played about, quite literally played about 15 league games or 14 league games in like 5 months. So football is a pretty rare thing for United fans. They need youth football. They need the women's team. They need, to go and watch, Salford City or whatever else, because they just aren't getting any football because, they're a once every fortnight club. City have been playing football twice a week, and all this bloody nonsense that United got a community BTEC trophy for counting seats. I mean, it's a bit pathetic. If they weren't such an embarrassing club playing games every 2 weeks, then they wouldn't have. They'd have all been at a Premier League game last night. They'd have been playing, watching their team playing 3 games. They'd have been down to Wembley every couple of weeks like we've been, and it's just a bit pathetic. They're counting seats and thinking how magnificent they are because they go to 1 game a week is just a sign of how embarrassing they are as a club, just how rubbish they are as a club, and how they're trying to turn being as bad as they are into a virtue, and it's sad to see.
Yeah, sorry, I know you mean Floyd. I can't get mixed up between the two.
And Kathy's point there is saying, it's expensive following City. I mean, mine, being a match day.
I'll tell you, the week I've got coming up is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, London Saturday, Bournemouth Tuesday, then back to the Etihad on Sunday. And Nick Jackson put a tweet out a few days ago, and he, bless him, his cotton socks. He was there tonight as well. Like I said, it's like just you list out the next 10 days, and then you go and then rest. We're gonna be getting back at 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning, coming back from Bournemouth, and then you're rocking on to Sunday then. And it's just, it's crazy at the minute. But listen, this is why we love the football club. We love the football club because this is what we do, and money becomes a little bit irrelevant in it all for me.
Yeah.
Exactly, Nick. 5 games in 11 days.
Makadu.
Jesus, you love a little tricky winger, don't you? I noticed you come back when I arrived. Was Ozzy and Rich boarding you had?
No. I'm actually headed to the office. I told him that in the private chat, so I had to switch to my phone.
Simon, Elliot doesn't come on shows anymore. Alan doesn't, and Harry, he'll be in the comments. Simon, I think you've got misunderstanding of who comes on shows a lot, mate. Listen, it was a great night, and it was great to see them all. Thought we should have had a penalty. Don't understand how we didn't get one. Maybe someone who was watching.
Yeah, that was definitely a pin.
Yeah.
Bit disappointing that we took the lead, and then they got one back so early, so early from before half time.
You mean like the first team? Yeah.
No, well, all right. What the hell? Jesus, what shots fired? Some kids here, mate. But then the second half, it was all setter. We hit the bar, and then Regan Esker smashed it. By the way, I thought he killed that fullback all night. I can't remember his name. Their number 2 killed him all night. I thought he was awful. How he didn't get sent off tonight, I don't know, because he got an early booking and it was game over. But it was just great. We're going to say boys in blue racing around the Joy Stadium, which was amazing. It was good. It was really good. And big up to them all. It was a pleasure to see them all. And one down, another one sat there. Women get their final, and we've got a treble at the FA Cups. We're dominating. And by the way, that's double for the under-18s. They won the league, won the double. Can the women do the same? And then can the men top it off with a treble? Well,
yeah,
we'll say.
A treble double. Imagine
I'm getting all excited now because because I'm seeing trophies getting lifted everywhere. So now I'm like, come on, we're doing it. So screw it.
Oh, you sound like a glory hunter. You sound like a glory hunter.
He really does.
Listen, if I'm using under 18s and City's women to glory on, I'm desperate at that point now, Ed. Jesus.
Let us clap happily all the way to the end.
Last night, it was weird last night. It was very weird. Typical Manchester weather. Piss rainer, freezing is what it is. I mean, by the way, I don't know if I noticed tonight, our young lads were slipping all over the gaff tonight. It was like, I think we're starting to overwater all these pitches. Starting to have a word with some of these pitch people, groundsmen. I think we're overwatering them. Because they really soaked it on Saturday against Brentford. They really had the things out. And then last night was just so it was a game last night. The atmosphere was dead, sadly. There was a lovely thing for Bernardo and Johnny Stones from the 1894 group at the start of the game, which was brilliant. Big up to them. No, it was just good. It felt like a bit of a damp squid last night. It was weird.
Is that because, Martin, like a lot of City fans are thinking the league's over there? I mean, you think it's over, don't you? So,
yeah, if I'm going to be honest, yeah, I think it's over. Listen, if Arsenal can't beat Burnley and Palace, that Palace team, then they don't deserve to win the league. Seriously, they really don't. Listen, if
they don't need to lose, they don't need to lose. They just
if they draw Ed to a Burnley and a Palace side that are on a beach, then they don't deserve to win the league.
I think
simple as
being the happiest clapper.
You're more happy clapper than me, you. I've noticed that.
I know.
No, Trev definitely is. Yeah, Trev definitely is. Yeah.
The only real case I can see is, well, apart from having Kyle Walker playing for him, Arsenal have failed to score more than one goal in the league since March in all their games. I think, true. Except for last week, they scored more than one goal. But their April stats were 0.8 goals per game. And I see nothing in watching them play, and I've watched them a lot, that convinces me that they are an attacking team who can score a lot of goals. And I've been proven right. I've won money on it, except for the last... I've been backing them with the correct score to lose 1-0 or 2-1 at very decent odds, and they lost those two games on the bounce by one goal. So I don't think that they are a free scoring team. And I think that as the season has gone on, teams have rumbled the dead ball situation and worked out how to defend it much better, especially the second time teams have played them. I did those stats as well. So if you're looking for hope, and hope is the currency of every football fan, it's what we spend at every game. We arrive with a pocket full of hope and we leave having spent it. Right. And sometimes we spend it well, and sometimes we buy something from Temu, that doesn't work 2 minutes after you got it. So for those of us who are going with a pocket full of hope into the end of the season, that's where the hope is. Arsenal do not score goals. Burnley will park a bus, and Kyle Walker will be the driver of that bus. And all those players aren't signing for Premier League teams next year. There's no one from Burnley who's looking for a big move away to a Premier League team. So they're playing for their jobs. So that's the happy clapper case. Shoot me down. I don't care. I shall still clap happily.
Trev, you make some fair points, to be honest. I mean, it's not over till it's over. Mathematically, it's not over. It is always the hope that kind of kills you. Who knows? Stranger things have happened in this league, for teams to win the Premier League. So, we have to talk about the Gerrard slip. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Strange things can happen. I'm not. I think it probably is, but I'm not. At the moment, I'm still not giving up on it. Do you know what I mean?
I think the game goes one of two ways, honestly. I think Arsenal get on top early and they could go and run away with the game. But I think if Burnley can frustrate Arsenal for 15 minutes, then 20, then 25, there's going to start to become anxiety in the crowd. And we saw in the game against QPR what anxiety in the stands can do on the pitch. And if they get to half-time 0-0 or they get, they get well in, there's going to be a lot of anxiety. And that will transfer onto the pitch. And that's when it gets interesting. If they go and score after 5 minutes and, get on top, they could go and run away with it. But I'm looking forward to Burnley being stout for 20 minutes and then watching how that starts to affect them. And then we'll see. Then we'll see what their character's like.
Yeah. Because Arsenal come out at 100 miles an hour for the first 10 minutes and then reset. That's their pattern for the whole season. They go mental for the first 5 minutes. That's when they take all their risks. And they do it in the second half. If Burnley weather that and then stick around at 0-0 for the first half, their asses are going to fall out. I know. I'm happily clapping.
No. I'm laughing at Danny's comment. Said if Michael Jackson can't get his Burnley team a draw, then he needs to have a look at the man in the mirror. I like it, my bum. Where'd you get that one? Christmas cracker.
And if they get one goal, they mustn't stop till they get enough.
Very true, very true. Just before I bring Governor in, because it's always
doesn't matter if the black hole wabby. Sorry, I thought we were doing Michael Jackson jokes. Sorry.
Yeah, that's maybe not.
Do you think you'll be able to heal the world? Make it a better place?
No. Hey, man, that man is a legend. You respect our American legends.
He's something, but I don't want to get the channel cancelled.
That's not mine. Let's stop while we're
Sorry, I was having an Alan moment.
Yeah, you were. And I was going to stop it.
We don't want to be starting something. Yeah, it'll be bad.
Listen,
apologies, you're boss man tonight. I know.
I am. Thank you very much. So, just want to say thank you very much to Outdoor Benji for his £5 super chat. Top channel. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Governor, great to see you, mate.
Good morning, good evening, and wherever you are. It was a thriller, that game last night, wasn't it?
Yep.
A thriller. Yes, sir.
A thriller in Manila.
I'm talking about the Youth Cup final. Can you hear me okay?
Nah, you're a bit quiet.
You're a little bit quiet, mate. For you, you're quiet.
I've got these stupid things in my ears. Yeah. Martin, I got to ask you a question on that game.
Am I back on the hot light?
Yeah. Well, it's for everyone, really. What do you think? It was so obvious when City was on, United were under the pump last night, and their keeper went down for no reason. He was looking at the bench. He wasn't even injured. The referee didn't know what to do because obviously all the teams went to the coaches. It was a tactic. But shouldn't the keeper get booked for that? Because he wasn't even the trainer didn't even come on the pitch. He just went down, and the referee held his hands up.
It's a tactic in football now, isn't it?
That was.
To be honest, our keeper was doing it at the end. If you look, he caught the ball quite cleanly, and then threw himself to the ground to buy an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah, but he did that at the end of the game. But this was in the game. This is like when they was under the pump. I thought that was bad. That
they're just teaching them for when they get into.
Going to make a rule about that in the closed season.
It's faking an injury. I won't mind the physios never came on the pitch. He just kept on looking at the bench.
No, do you know why the physios don't come on the pitch? Because the physios come off the pitch. I can't remember if the rule counts for the goalie. I know it does for the 10 outfield players, but if a trainer comes off, then they have to go off.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to go off at the side of the pitch. If the trainer doesn't come on, they can carry on. But I think that doesn't count for the goalie.
Doesn't count for the goalie, Martin.
Right, I know goalies have, because Jesus, we'll get into last week. Goalies are protected, but no, man.
That just did me in that last night. I just thought it was on my mind all the time. That shocking.
Sorry, I can't. That's where you confused when you said last night. I thought you were talking Palace, and I forgot you woke up. It was like an hour and a half ago for me, Governor. And you're saying last night like it was. It was an hour and a half ago for me. And you're at last night.
Well, the game was 4 a.m. here. I mean, it's what now?
I know.
Which game are you talking about now?
I thought he was at Palace. That's where I'm like, well, when did the goalie go down at Palace and do that? I never realised what he meant.
Sorry, I did say the Youth Cup final, didn't I?
No, you just said last night.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I was there an hour and a half ago. How the friggin' hell you got for last night? Have I time warped?
No, no, it was 4 a.m. here, so it was on my head.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
There's one thing I want to say about all the noise about the game. Can I share a screen? Do you mind?
No,
as long as it's appropriate, mate.
Yeah, don't get cancelled.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, hang on. No, it's a nightmare to do it. No, it's all right because I've got about 20 tabs open.
If you send it me on, you got to send it to me, Trevor. I can put it up.
Yeah, carry on. Talk about something else because I want to talk about this because I've got strong opinions. Unusual for me, I know.
Fair enough. Gov, do you want to mention about last night's game, as in the Crystal Palace game? Can we get on to what your thoughts about that are?
God, I forgot about it now.
I know it was 2 days ago for you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That was a good game. We got the points. That was the most important thing. Savio had a good game. I'll give him that. But I don't know. I've said I'll give him next season, but I can't see him doing it. But we give Doku the 3rd season and he's come good. So I don't know about Savio, but
his 3rd season.
Well, it's his 3rd year, isn't it, Doku?
Yeah, 3rd season. Yeah.
3rd season. So this is Savio's 3rd season. So if he doesn't do it, then get rid.
No, Savio's 2nd season. Yeah, last season was his 1st. It's his 2nd.
Yeah. So I'd give him next season, and that's it. Not messing around. You've got to get rid of players. If you're not doing it, that's it.
Were you because me and Rich have already been through the game, so but for the lineup, Gov, what were your thoughts? Because obviously, for me and Rich talking earlier, like we were big surprised at that starting lineup. I don't think anyone would have called that lineup, if we're being honest. What were your thoughts?
I even went back to, I did mention it about the Brentford game when I seen that lineup and he put Reinders in before Nico G, and I even thought he was thinking of the FA Cup final then. I don't know why, but Reinders was out the blue for the Brentford game. But there you go,
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest surprise probably was Josko. I think no one would have thought he would have started last night, in all honesty. Yeah. But I mean, me and Rich were talking about earlier, and so was Ed. Were saying, we've forgotten what we've missed. Some of us, do you know what I mean? Like he is so immense. Like he showed last night for 60 minutes what we have missed. I mean, there were times where he was playing like as a second striker. Do you know what I mean? He was, For me, I mean, I said it earlier. Like going into next season, like just the centre backs we've got, he's going to be better than Arsenal. In all honesty, looking at what we've got compared to them.
Going back to, I'm going back to a few nights ago.
Which game are you talking about now?
I can't. When Bevo was on mine, and I'm thinking about what Bevo said. And
so the Brentford game.
The Brentford game. I can't. I would go with. I know. Yeah.
This is like talking to me, Dad, and I'm saying that in a banter way, but this is like.
Really is. Like,
was that last week, this week, next week, or the week before, or tomorrow's game? Or...
Listen, it's Friday morning here, and there's a big day tomorrow, and it's not just the FA Cup final; it's my birthday. So that's
happy 60th.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, mate.
So, what Bevo? Going back to Bevo, I agree with what Bevo says now because I thought about it. they're always talking about when Josko comes back to play him left back, right? Not centre back. And then put Nico O'Reilly at number 8 in the 8. And I thought that's not a bad move really, because there won't be a lot of room for him otherwise. Whether he'd be second choice instead of Nori for left back, but that's not a bad, because O'Reilly and Josko are good up front as well. So that's not a bad shout.
No, I think it's going to be quite interesting going into next season with the options we're going to have, because you got to remember, like, for some players, you know, depending on how far they go in the World Cup for their countries, do you know what I mean? Like, some players may come back sooner than others, and then it's like some players will start before others because they go maybe further in the World Cup. So I think it's going to be quite interesting and how the kind of season starts really for City. Yeah, some players may, you know, that we're not like thinking of right now, but they may get early games and then show how good they are, and that, you know, just like O'Reilly did this season when he got his chance and opportunity. So
yeah, I've got to say, I've got to shoot now, but
Rich,
look forward to the FA Cup. My prediction 2-0, even though it's not in our prediction league, I'll predict 2-0.
Yeah. Oh, can I just show you this while you're on? Sorry, I know Rick, just while Rich goes, this is where we are with the league so far. Rich, basically, we're basically where we all are. Ed's got no chance. Aussie's really got no chance anymore, unless he predicts the next two and we all miss it. So Ed and Aussie are out. Basically, for 2 games now, it's between me, Pat, and Rich of who wins. But it looks like Ed is going to have to do the wooden spoon. Yeah, by the way, I've got that thing from Treble now, Ozza, so don't know if you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Have a great one.
Rich, we're doing a post-match Sunday, so I don't know if you're about, but let us know.
Yeah, I should be. I might be in a bad way on Sunday, like Governor, but we'll see.
Why? What's going on over there? What are you doing?
Well, we'll be getting home about 4 a.m, having been on. You know, Governor will have been on.
I'm travelling all the way to London and back. Piss off with your excuses.
Sober.
Rolling out of bed is not an excuse. Get lost. Poor Trevor's up at 4:30 in the morning on here right now. Don't give him the rubbish, Ed. Rich.
Dedication.
Yeah.
And I wake up at 4 every morning anyway, but never mind.
Anyway, right. Big up, Rich.
Right.
Rich. Right, there's the picture. Go on, Trev, you go through it.
All right. So we're all aware of the kerfuffle United fans made about not moving it to Old Toilet. And big names, big United names got involved, including Terry Christian, who I really liked when he was a youth, because he was on a really good TV show and introduced a lot of new music, including Oasis and several other bands. But in his dotage, unlike me, he's become a bitter man. And he made a massive fuss about this. And then a lot of United accounts kind of joined in with his emotional appeal. These young lads, this youth team, we've always had massive, massive interest in our youth team at Old Trafford, the Busby Babes, all of that. And they were all drawing on that bullshit, right? And I did my Mrs. Merton meme, which went a bit viral. You know, so United fans, what has suddenly got you animated about a youth team you haven't given a shit about since 2022, right? But the emotional thing that they were saying is, this means so much. This means so much to us because we care about our youth. Our youth are everything to Manchester United. Please, Man City have been terrible. They don't care about their youth. At the very moment their youth team needed them the most, when they're picking up the losers medal, which is when you need your support the most, especially as a teenager, they'd fucked off. That's their end behind them. They'd all fucked off. They'd all fucked off to the pub or fucking Asda or wherever they were going. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about their youth team. If they really cared and it was so emotional for them, they'd have stayed and applauded those lads and shown them the support when they needed it the most at that tender age, right? And they fucked off. So don't ever, ever, ever boast about how much you give a shit about your youth team, United fans. This was a nonsense, an absolute nonsense. You don't give a shit about them. You've not given a shit.
Poor, that.
Fuck them. They fucked off.
Yeah, no.
These young lads. Imagine they're picking up a loser's medal, but the 1,000 United fans that turned up who sang all through the game, mainly about empty seats, had stayed behind and sang how much that would have meant to them. Don't tell me what playing at Old Toilet would have meant to them, and 70,000 would have gone. They fucking wouldn't, right? Yeah. Imagine what that would have meant to those young lads that you care about so fucking much. It's all absolute bollocks. The hypocrites. It's the hypocrisy.
Yeah,
they put those young lads up to believe that they cared about them, and the very moment they needed them, they fucked off.
Yeah.
End of rant.
No. That was quite a rant. We might have to get a rant for you. Like a rich rant name, Martin, for Trev.
Trevor's Troubles.
Yeah, Troubles. I like it, Governor. I like it. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it earlier. Saying that how the tables have turned. Compared to where United were back in the the early 2000s and the 90s, with their youth teams and what they produced, the players they produced. We're now looking at City's youth, and some of the players that we're getting and have got, like, absolutely fantastic. And we were saying, obviously, you look at like Heskey and his sons that are in the club. Do you know what I mean? When we were talking about some United ex-players have had their kids in the City academies. Do you know what I mean? So it says a lot, doesn't it, when ex-United players are having to put their kids in, not in the United academy, but they're actually going to the City academy. I mean, that should scream alarm bells.
Yeah. I mean, that Heskey and McAdoo, they stood out, didn't they, really?
Oh, God, yeah.
Whoever watched it, Martin went. They stood out, really. McAdoo run riot.
Yeah, I mean, he had his opportunity at the beginning of the season with us in the first team, and he showed some class then. I mean, I don't think he's done himself any harm tonight with Pep watching, that he might have a future in the first team, because he's got so much talent, and a lot of those players have. So
still young, just
I'm going to disagree for another reason, but I don't want to bring up last night's debate again. Sorry, because this was we made a point last night, and this was part of my issue, Trev, that I think I did mention of. This is part of my issue with it, because I think we're going to fuck over our academy in it. And that's my worry, when I think there are some gems in there. I'm not saying they're ready. I'm not going to say they could be, but
no.
I'd rather go and find the wonder kid in our academy than the wonder kid from South America or Germany. I'd rather go and get the kid out of the academy. That's just me being an old fuddy-duddy, I guess, and a Mancunian guy.
But both is my point. We're rich enough. Why limit ourselves?
I just think McAdoo's got some real talent. I really do. I think these Samba boys have. I think the Samba boys are going to go. They're on the same trajectory as the Heskey lads. I mean, one's out on loan. I can't remember where Jaden's at. Yeah. Where's Jaden at? Is he at Sheffield Wednesday? Someone tell me in the chat. Is he Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, I feel like it was one of the Sheffield clubs.
I know Mwamba was at Stoke, then he broke his leg.
Yeah, he was at Stoke.
Cass's at Leicester. Where the frig's Jaden at?
Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember. Sheffield Wednesday, right. I don't know why I thought it was Sheffield Wednesday where he was at. Thank you, guys. I thought it was. So, and that's my thing. It's like, and maybe that's just me being an old, like I said, old Mancunian guy of get them in rather than go and get all these.
Martin, you always get one or two breaking through. It is a cash cow in the end. The academy.
Yeah, we've made that point a lot in this channel, that the academy probably is a big cash cow for the club, and it has been. It's you think about the players that have gone on and we've sold them for big money, and some of them have haunted us, like of Palmer, that we've got rid of.
Lazila.
And I said earlier about what's his face at Villa.
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, but he had to go to Blackpool and Middlesbrough and all that before he even got to Villa.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, he still was a big talent. But I think, for me, I think one of the criticisms I said earlier on is when it comes to our youth, it's been Pep. I think because Pep hasn't used, and he's admitted this himself now, that, he didn't really look at the youth, didn't try and use the youth, academy kids coming up as much as he probably could have done. So I think, you look at the likes of O'Reilly that have come through recently, Rico, not so far back, I know he's gone off the ball of late, but, when he first came through, we were all raving about how good he was. So, I think there is a chance that some of these players could see more first-team football because, again, as I said earlier on, like for me, City's plan when Sheikh bought the club is that the plan was they were going to turn the academy into the La Masia. They were going to turn it into the Barcelona of the Premier League. That's what they wanted. They wanted to produce more and more youth players to come through and play in the first 11. And I think we over probably the last decade, we've had some really good youth players that have come through. And some obviously have come through, like to Phil Foden. Some like Palmer, who have come through but have had to leave because they didn't see a future. And I'd hate for us to kind of repeat that with some of these current crop of young, talented kids, because I think they've got, as Martin just said, some of them looked excellent tonight. Absolutely excellent. And I think we don't need to always.
The only thing I'd say is just a word of caution is don't forget that's not EDS tonight. That was under 18s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's still a step up. There's a step up to EDS because the under 18s won the league. Like I said, they won the league. They won the cup double. Funnily enough, United came second in that as well. But the EDS have finished third.
Yeah,
in their league. Chelsea and United. Chelsea and United were both above them. So that's.
How many among us? I will freely admit I don't watch the youth team. I'll watch highlights on City's.
Yeah, I'm more like
but I'm not that invested and never have been, and because it's just not a thing I feel. Are other teams more invested in theirs? Have I got this wrong? Because I just don't really ever see the enthusiasm for youth football. We all care about it. Don't get me wrong. We all give a shit. And we all like to hear the names as they bubble up to the surface and get our attention. And we get excited about those.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is the attendances for across the board are like in the, 1 to 2,000s, no matter what team it is. There might be other teams that get a lot more, but on average, are we that invested in it?
Sometimes, though, Trev. I mean, the crowd. I know you talk about the crowd, but sometimes I have the volume off when I'm watching games because the commentary is not that good. But I mean,
well, Premier League games always.
Yeah. What's the point? What is the point of the academy? I like to watch. You've got to have a bit of knowledge of the boys coming through and watching them, than to see 5 minutes off the bench. A cameo 5 minutes. So I like to see before they get to the bench.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's good. I know people care about it. Maybe I should care more. I don't know. But
the problem is, let's be straight, 3 players have made it. Well, actually, no. One's made it. One's on his way to making it. The other one we all said had made it, and now we all said he's shit and we want to sell him in the summer.
Is that the natural yield?
There's not. I mean, are we saying 3? I mean, what we're talking? Right, Foden's made it. O'Reilly's on his way. Rico Lewis, we're all saying get out.
Like for everybody, that you have 400 over 6 years and 3 make it.
I say Trafford made it.
I mean, Trafford's a difficult one to say because obviously, he's the backup keeper, but you know, we know he's talented, and in all fairness to him, when he's been called upon, especially in the cups games, he's been brilliant. So I would say at the moment he's made it, because no one knows about like if he's going for definite in the summer. Probably will, but
he's going to be going us.
Yeah, that's what I said, probably, but I'm not putting 100% on it just yet. But I think we are starting to see that, like I said, Pep is starting to kind of look at some of the kids in the academy, and when he sees someone special, like he did with O'Reilly, like he did with Rico Lewis, he brings them in. And I think there are still some young gems.
Brings them in
there.
for cup games.
Yeah, but those cup games can lead to more things, like they have done with the likes of
depending on injuries.
But that's what I'm saying. It's only happened for 3 years.
Depending on injuries.
That's Trev's point. We've had about 50 of them. 3 out of 50 is not a.
But what's the normal yield? Is my question. Of every youth team. How many players? United will gaslight us. United will gaslight us about the Fergie era. And they would have us believe that Fergie signed 10 orphans that he found on Barton Dock Road having a game of Kirby for 50p and a bottle of Imto and a chippy tea, right? That's the myth of Ferguson's United.
That might have been
But it wasn't true. It wasn't true. They had 5 or 6, which is a pretty good yield, right? 5 or 6 from their youth team mixed in with the most expensive players on the market at the time. Not a bad model because it worked for 20 years. So, but that's the myth of United's youth policy, because they produce fuck all sense, right? So, what is the yield of a youth team? What can we reasonably expect over a 10-year period? How many youth team players make it to the first team in any club?
Well, look at Pep's era, 10 years. How many's come through?
So we've had 3. I count Trafford because I rate him. So we've got Phil and we've got Nico O. O'Reilly. Yeah, that's what I meant. Nico O'Reilly.
Yeah,
Rico.
Who else?
That's it.
But Rico did make it. Like for the first 2 seasons he came through, we were all raving about him. So
and now he's being abused by every single City fan nearly on the planet to get out the bloody joint. So
yeah, but you've also got the players that we do sell in the summer that you don't see a lot of. It's not making
it for me, Governor.
No, I know that, but that's the other side of being a cash cow. Going back to Martin, you might know the year we beat Chelsea in a Youth Cup final as well, and the 3 scorers was Foden, Morgan Rogers, and Palmer.
Yeah, and we had that was when Tolson had about and all that with that as well. It was it was crazy, and that was because I was at that cup final again with my dad. That was the sad part tonight. My dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
But the big thing was the trouble is, and I'm going to be real here.
Probably.
We look at Manchester City. Manchester City now on the world stage is looked upon like a Bayern Munich, an Arsenal, Liverpool, a Real Madrid. You can't demand all these trophies and standards and all this stuff and then go, can we have the kids through as well? Because as soon as that kid don't do it, listen, you've seen it with Phil Foden this season. The
I know you can go too early.
That guy has taken was borderline disgusting because it wasn't even constructive criticism. It was just, and everyone kept calling us out, oh, you're protecting your boy, your academy boy, star boy, and all this stuff.
But don't confuse that minority that were noisy about Phil negatively, because what we also saw was an overwhelming amount of love from most City fans, especially the ones who go to games. But other than that, online, it overwhelmed the dickheads.
Yeah, the trouble is, Trev, there's more fans online than there is that go to games.
And I think Phil or someone close to him mentioned that he saw the support and valued it because it was overwhelming. it did overwhelm the negative, but the negative were small but noisy as fuck, as they always are, because negativity gets amplified. You know, so you're right. In you know, you saw it, we all saw it. You know, we see it about Pep. You know, so but overwhelmingly, there was massive support and understanding for Phil.
Oh, shouldn't I feel for you, mate? Shouldn't you be going and having a little bit of a go and have a pint of bitter, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of lemon?
Does he need my one?
I mean, your young ones got their bottoms slapped like their mummy slapped their bottoms when they were young.
To get through, as we know, when our bench is weak and we've got a mini crisis of injuries, they get on the pitch. O'Reilly did it. O'Reilly got in because of injuries and he took his chance. That's how he got in. All right. Really.
Come now. I'll chuck it the other way. We brought Max Lane back from Watford. Max Lane is on his football journey to improve, because the idea of a youth team is not really bring him in, it's to go out on loan and then bring him in. So they get a bit of first. Because every footballer will tell you youth level football and Premier League football is night and day. I always remember O'Reilly saying that. He said O'Reilly walked out in the Community Shield against the Derby, against the Rags, 80,000 fans, and he said he shit himself.
Yeah, worlds apart. Yeah,
because they go from playing in front of 1,000 people to walking out of Wembley and 80,000 people all screaming and having demands and standards and everything else. That's a whole new world. I remember
pressure.
Saying I do remember Tosin Adebayor. He played against Wycombe Wanderers in the Cup a few years back. I think Labia played in that game, and he looked like Bambi on ice. He froze. Some do freeze, sadly. But I think where I look at City's Academy being a success is we send them out on loan. So, for example, not loan, they go and have a football career somewhere else. So, for example, we set them on their way. You might not be good enough for Manchester City, but because you're blurting at Manchester City, you've been at Manchester City, you'll go and have a good football career within the Premier League.
Right,
and that's nothing to be.
I agree with you.
About. That's a good thing.
With you, but look at it another way, where you want all these top line players, the here and now players, and you go on about we need a strong bench, and then in one breath you'll say, well, they're not happy sat on the bench. Now, if you got one of these young kids breaking through, they're eager and they're dying to get on. Do you know what I mean? They'll get their small chance. But these prima donnas who sit on the bench and they reckon they're not happy, there's another way of looking at it. You might say they're not good enough or they're not getting trusted. But it's the only way. I've got patience with these players. If they get little cameos every now and again, you get a taste of it. I like to see that.
And some make it and some don't. It's Sparta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mars put it. Why should Phil get special treatment, local or not?
Yeah,
yes, that's the thing. Like I said, because he is an academy lad, he will get a special treatment. I know fans don't get it, and I know you don't. And that's not a dig. That's not me saying, oh, fucking hell, you don't. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I do think you have to be a local fan to understand the academy.
Definitely.
Part.
Yeah.
That's not a dig. You just have to.
The best way I found to express that is that you won't find a Mancunian City fan who will defend Phil on his recent form since December, which is when his form dropped off. You will get an emotional defense of him because that's what it means to us. And so he gets more slack than anybody ever would because he's one of our own. And that's what the song is. He's one of our own. And so you will only ever get emotional defense of Phil Foden. Don't come at us with his stats since December, or I'll come back at you with his stats from up until December when he was on treble season form, right? That's the goals and assists that he was doing. He leads the Premier League goals and assists.
He has more GA than Saka, Palmer, and
he's at the top of it, but that's all based on his form up until December.
Yeah, and this is why I'm with you. He's not had 2 years. Shit.
End of December is when his form dropped.
He fell off a cliff. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not having a go. I'm just
saying. Know why. We don't know.
There is no City fan, local, abroad, old, young, will ever say Phil Foden has not fallen off a cliff in December. No, we can't say that.
It's a little example. A little example is Spartacus, where he favours South American players. It's the same thing. It's from where you're from.
Yeah.
You favour it.
Yeah. Spaniards will back their young Spanish players.
That's right.
Here's a perfect example, and I really hate this. Sorry, but I've got to use it. Riyad Mahrez and Ryan Cherka, a French Algerian. The backing they got, rightfully so. You know, I know we also was a bit, fruivorous and everything else. Get it. But they backed their own. They backed their guy from their country and their beliefs, and they backed him. Riyad Mahrez could have gone out and had a -5, and they were raving about him. Ryan Cherka could score 3 own goals in a game, and if you say anything negative about it, you get 45 responses calling yourself a wank, calling you a wanker.
And if he's dropped, the moment the team sheet drops, there's 1,000 of them on the team sheet announcement calling Pepper racist.
Yeah, and so I would, anyone who does the Phil doesn't get it, switch it around. That's why we do it for Phil. In the same way they do it for Mahrez and Cherky or Kushinov or Nico G or Billy Bob down the road. Unfortunately, you back your own from your own country. I know that may be wrong and sound a bit xenophobic, and maybe it is from, we don't look at it that way.
It's a natural thing.
It's
a natural thing.
I think one of the things, go back to what you said, Martin, like you look at the big clubs around Europe, and I think probably we are probably the standout for youth academy kids on, in the starting 11 or on the bench, because you look at the likes of Real Madrid. Real Madrid, I don't think have even got one academy player, in their starting 11, let alone on the bench. I think the same goes with Bayern Munich. I don't think there's an academy kid that's in their starting 11. Same with PSG. I don't think they've got an academy kid. You could go on. Do you know what I mean? With some of the big clubs in Europe, I don't think at the moment they have got the amount of academy kids that are coming through for us. So I think we are doing something right. We are able to get we have got such a talent from the academy that is able and are able starting to break through.
You look at Arsenal. Arsenal back Lewis Skelly, they back Saka, they back all them. You go to United, they back Rashford, they back all there. You go to, I'm trying to think somewhere else, Tottenham. You look at Jared Bowen and West Ham. Jared Bowen at West Ham is like the god to them. They love him. If he leaves, don't leave. Jared Bowen, you stay. Because he's West Ham till he dies. That's just the way it is. It was, a little bit. Do you remember when Messi left bloody Barcelona? I know that's an A to Z extremes, I like to call it. But Messi was come from there. He'd sorted out their knee from being 14. Because remember, he had a dodgy knee and his career was over. Barcelona put time, money, and patience in with him to rehabilitate him, bring him back, bring him up, and it was right. And you know what Messi said in an interview? He said, "I'll never forget that." And that's the loyalty. The loyalty goes both ways. I don't also think you have to be from the country. I think KDB and David Silva would always have that love and everything else. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Cherka, Kushinov, Billy Bob down the road are not quality players, but I'll put it in the best analogy I can for me. You don't want to marry someone after 3 dates. 3 dates have gone brilliant. You're great. You want to move on to the next step of your relationship. But you're not moving in, having a baby and getting married on the 3rd date. That's what some are doing.
I'm not doing that again.
With some of these players. With Phil Foden's done it for 8, 9, 10 years, and he's had a little bit of a down period, and everyone turned. I can't then just ignore the 7 seasons he's done for the previous. Yeah. That doesn't just all go out the window.
No,
it's like
but you're defending him on form, but we don't have to.
Yeah.
He's from Stockport, for fuck's sake. We love him. End of.
It is what it is. But sadly, I'm going to be honest with you. The academy is what it is. one or two will make it.
That's right.
If we were Manchester City in mid-table, more than make it.
On how many academy players end up playing for the first team? What percent? What would you guess? Over the last 10 years, the question I asked is over the last 10 years, how many academy? Well, let me bring up.
Yeah, I know you. I know where you're going with this because I've seen the exact same stat.
Yeah. So how?
Yeah, but you can watch different teams and all that, right? And even the lower leagues, and you can go and there'll be an ex-City player in there.
1 minute, Governor. Sorry to think, Ozzy just got to go, so let Ozzy just
all right.
do his goodbyes.
Yeah, sorry, I've got to go, guys. I've got work tomorrow, but yeah.
Just before you go, can I just say in the chat and everyone else, can you please big up Ozzy because he helps out a lot, especially on Thursdays. He's got so much better at hosting and everything else. So please, can you just show a little bit of love for Ozzy in the chat?
Well done, Oz.
Past couple of Thursdays, anyways, really helps.
Thanks, Martin, and thanks everyone for watching tonight.
Now he can piss off.
Yeah, you've had your
for the.
Oh, does that mean I can talk about my Nico G and Pep agendas now? Now you're going.
Yes, you can. You can have those agendas if you like. I will just say, let's not forget what Nico did at the beginning of the season, and on Pep, he's not going anywhere. Sorry to break that.
No, just all his backroom staff are going, but we'll get to that in the next part of the show. All his backroom staff are going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is true. His backroom staff are going.
Two.
Okay. One
two is not
reported, but yeah.
Okay.
Two. All right. Two. Anyway. Sorry, the fitness coach, but yeah. Anyway.
Oh, the guy who's never left his side in 15 years is leaving. Never left him.
Mine will go into his agendas, and you all have to put it. Sorry, I can't defend.
Go on, no, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
I'll do your job for you, Ozzy. Don't you worry, mate. I ain't having it. He's
Thanks
going nowhere.
for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you probably next week because I'm working all weekend. So enjoy.
Take care, Oz.
Everything. See you later, guys.
Bloody bug.
Take care, mate.
So someone's just said Paul Lake, Andy Hinchcliffe, and Brightwell's didn't work out. Paul Lake got a career-ending injury and was an incredible talent.
Paul Lake's very different.
Andy Hinchcliffe did all right. One of the Brightwells did all right. The other Brightwell didn't. So
Paul Lake had a bloody career-ending injury, guys. I can't say it didn't work out.
Yeah,
you can't put Paul Lake in that conversation.
I was at Paul Lake's testimonial, funnily enough, against the Rags.
Yeah,
and he came out in a bloody boot.
He had two brothers, David and Michael. Paul was the youngest. He was the one who made it. David signed for Blackburn. I was at school with David and I played in the same team, although I was shit. And Michael was very good, ended up playing for Macclesfield, but he signed for Blackburn, I think, as well. But Paul was a different level. Someone's having a guess how many academy players that
that's over 4 years. Right, I know what you're doing, and I have got to come back for it.
Right, it's 3%. It is 3%.
Oh, I thought you were going with the other one because there is a stat out there.
A few people have guessed it absolutely right. So the question I asked is, what is
Crunk? Is that Crunk? I presume it's Crunk. If you want to join Crunk, let me know and I'll send you the link. So, the only thing I'd say, because there is a stat out there that everyone's using now, Pep has given more first-team opportunities or debuts to academy players than any manager in the Premier League currently. But that includes League Cup. Now this is the caveat. This is the kernel of truth that you have to chuck in here. Yes, he's given them all, but Salford City in the third round of a cup is, yes, it's given a chance, but then you don't see him again.
Yeah.
So is that giving him a chance? Is that not giving it? When I see my idea of giving him a chance is a Rico Lewis, is a Nico Ryler, not chucking him in for a game against a third league opposition.
Yeah, but we're not on our own, Martin. We're not on our own. Over the years, the League Cup, all teams put their
no, I agree.
That's why I framed the question as I did, because I don't want to know about our rate. I want to know how.
I don't know about other rates because
well, that's why I asked the question. What is the typical yield from Premier League academies who make it into the first team over the last decade? Gave me a load of nonsense about people who make one appearance, right? But then when you drill down, it says that the average integration rates, top integrators are Man United and Liverpool at 50 to 51%, but that's on the one appearance thing. Okay. The overall pictures, hundreds of players graduate professionally across clubs. Only a fraction break into the first team at their own club. Many are sold or loaned out. So it's actually 3%. 3% of players go on to play for their own teams. So we can take that as a typical yield, not Man City's yield, not how we do it, but how Premier League clubs do it. Now we've got a baseline to judge our club. I haven't asked that question yet.
It is an average, though, Trev. Is there an argument saying our quality of academy player is better than others that get through more?
No, and I don't want to go into a big chat GPT question, but I just wanted to establish a baseline figure. What is the yield of most academies to get into the first team and play regularly?
Well, are you asking for an average or just an overall?
No, I'm asking for the average. The question.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
We do know now because we've got the answer according to. Well, I'm using Grok.
Well, 3%. If that's 3%, then it's not big. And the worry I would say with that is a team like Everton would use academy more than we'd use academy. So
maybe they have to.
I think it also does come down to finances.
Yeah.
Can I go back to...
that's one big thing that Newcastle are chucking around at the minute, when I've seen a lot of Newcastle fans of, they're not using their academy at all.
I had in my Twitter trying to tell me that they spent zero on their academy and City have spent 80 million. And it just isn't true. It just isn't true. They paid 1.25 million. They paid 1.25 million for one of our players last season from the academy.
See, but again, my question is, I think it's subjective as well. You can look at it from an objective point of view and a factual point of view, but you can also, my idea of making it and my idea of a success, maybe someone else's different version of a success. Some will say making City's first team. Cole Palmer, I would say, his success about academy. He's gone around and became a £50 million player for Chelsea and became an England international. Now, that was through the help of Manchester City's training at a youth level. That's helped him get to that level. To me, that's part of the success. Was he a success at making the Manchester City first team? No. Was Oscar Bob? No. But Oscar Bob has gone on. We made 35 million. He became a Norwegian international and now plays at Fulham in the Premier League. So that, to me, is a success.
Yeah.
It depends what some would say your success is playing for your club, your Phil Foden, your O'Reillys, etc.
Howard Bellis would be a success, wouldn't it? Bellis.
But the trouble was Howard Bellis was Howard Bellis is coming in at a time where the takeover happening, and we're going out spending a load of money, so you don't need to rely on the academy anymore. Now you go and get a £50 million defender in instead of using your youth.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Going back,
because the problem is a club is always going to chase their tails. They want the success.
There was another lad, Martin, going back. I can't remember his name. Is it Steve Thompson? Remember in the midfield, he was supposed to be the next Colin Bell. I think his career ended because he had stomach trouble in the midfield. Steve, is it Thompson? Steve?
Yeah, I can go early. Later than that. I go back to when we were in the old Division 2, and you had Gary Mason, Nick Fenton, Willow Flood, Jim and Jeff Whitler. We had our whole team nearly was an abundance of academy lads.
Yeah,
that's because we didn't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you're using them now because you got to. You're not using them because you may want to do.
That's right.
You're using them because Lee Crooks. We can go through so many. Michael Johnson was going to be the next Colin Bell, but sadly, Demons took over for him. The Demons got to him, and Anyone look up Michael Johnson? It's one of the
Michael
saddest.
Johnson, he played for England as well, didn't he? England under
Yeah, he was one of the saddest. Jadon Sancho, see, not success.
Michael Johnson.
The success was Jadon Sancho was getting him out because he's proven to be a toxic little sod everywhere he's been. The only place he's done well at is Borussia Dortmund. Anyone in England, Chelsea, Villa, United, us, just didn't do it. I think he has too many distractions in England, Sancho. I think when a player's abroad, because here's one, does Raheem Sterling class as a QPR academy success? Because he went to Liverpool, then went on to City and won all his trophies. So do QPR claim some of that success?
That's right.
Are Chelsea taking success for KDB and Musiala? This is how deep you can take these academies.
That's right. You can
because
keep going.
I don't think Chelsea fans are sat there going, "We made Musiala the player he is at Bayern Munich." They're probably not, but they could do it to be a shameless little sod about it.
Yeah.
And that's I suppose that's just.
I just did a bit of a deep dive about Martin's question of how many hold down a first team spot. I've put it in the comments. How many hold down a first team spot and have a regular career at other clubs who were academy graduates? And can we put the comment up? Or is it not there yet? I'll read it.
I'll come to it.
Of every 100 academy entrants at top clubs, I expect 3 to play Premier League football and perhaps 1 to have a genuinely regular career level stint in senior football somewhere in the English. So 1 in 100 make it. 1 in 100 make it by your criteria of who goes on to have a regular, a regular first team spot in any team once they
career. Yeah, go on and have a career.
That's the real criteria. You were right to point that out. It's absolutely the right criteria. So every year, 1 in 100 goes on to have a career. Of 7,000 who register, by the way, every season. Unbelievable.
And I think also it's the pathway, and it's whether the coaches give you a chance as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's whether you get that look with if a coach likes you or not. Do you know what I mean?
Sean Wright-Phillips, Keegan gave him a chance. People forget Sean Wright-Phillips started at right wing back. He was a right wing back when he played. He made his debut against Coventry City. And if you remember, he couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo when he first got going.
I was there.
Could not hit a cow's ass with a banjo. And he fluked one away at Millwall. He just hit the thing and it went in. And then he never looked back again then. He never looked back.
Yeah.
And sometimes...
I think it was a Tuesday or Wednesday night. He came on as sub on his debut and he nearly scored on his... I think he come on for the last 10, 15.
It's a wild one.
He corrected me when I met him a few years ago because I said I was at your debut and he says, I bet you weren't. I said, yeah, Coventry. He went, no, my debut was away and everyone forgets it. And he said the team and I can't remember it.
Was it Millwall?
But his actual debut, first team debut, was an away game about a week or two before.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the Coventry game and like you, I thought that was
his first start.
Yeah.
Coventry
was his first start.
Yeah.
I embarrassed myself in front of the man himself. He was very nice about it.
Sean Wright-Phillips' first start was Coventry. I don't think it was his first debut.
He was one of them players where I was absolutely gutted because I thought he would have been a one-club person. And I was gutted when
he got told to go. He had to go.
No, didn't want to go.
No. Governor, if he hadn't gone, City were going into administration.
Yeah, I know.
And he's talked about that so many times. He cried all the way down to
I know the story.
Down to London.
Yeah.
But then we got him back. Bless him.
Because you know where he was from? He was from Nottingham Forest originally.
Right.
He was in Forest's academy. We brought him in at 17.
Yeah. It shows you.
The other one I got really excited about was Clive Wilson. I was at his debut. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
He was an incredible talent.
Yeah.
And when I saw Sean, I just thought we got another Clive Wilson.
I know Burnley in the League Cup. He made his debut against.
Well,
Yeah.
Sean's brother Bradley. I mean, he did well, didn't he, in America in the end? You know.
Yeah.
He went to MLS though to be successful.
Yeah.
Big up Oriano. Right. Cup final before we move on to my other bit of news that we're going to go through. How are we feeling for Sunday? I don't know if Ozzy's talked about this. I might have missed it. Chelsea got a quite decent record against Chelsea in the last few years. I think it's 20. Make sure I've got this correct. 2021, 5 years ago when they last beat us, I believe. How are we all feeling? Because, I mean, for me, is it a good thing Chelsea are in a mess or is it a bad thing?
Doesn't matter. It's a cup final. Doesn't really matter.
Oh, are you one of these? Forms out the window.
That's it. I'm expecting all the big guns and the strongest team he can put out. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has their manager been there? January?
But no, he's been there twice. He's a caretaker manager.
Right. Against Pep Guardiola? Come on.
Yeah, he's the one who got the 1-1 draw at the Etihad.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was the City Pep can't beat a caretaker manager. He used to be manager of Croydon FC, and he got sat there.
Big up Steve. He remembers Clive Wilson.
I mean, for me, it's looking like, because I mean, Pep said everyone's fit. We'll see. We'll see whether he chucks Rodri in or he doesn't. Yeah, you can do. You can do, Oriano. I don't know what you want to talk about, mate, because what do you want to talk to him about?
I think he's saving Rodri for the final. Myself. Definitely.
See, I'm confident for Saturday, which is a scary thing because I normally get I can be nervous in finals, but I'm not nervous for this.
I think there's a game face about the squad at the moment now that wasn't there in the first half of the season. You know, I think they know who they are and what they're supposed to be doing way more than they did for the first half of the season. So I think the lads will take this very seriously. Like they did the League Cup, went up against Arsenal and spanked them. Spanked them.
Trevor, though, up to November, though, Trev, we was on fire. Foden and Harmon were knocking them in for fun. But I don't know what happened around October, November. He changed the system and they dried up. I don't know what happened.
The drop-off was December. The form was all right until December, but you're right, you know, yeah. So, but I think there's a game face about the lads now.
Well, a little too late, maybe. I don't know.
See, for me, I think he'll go back to. I don't think what anyone did last night will have any say in the cup final. I think Pep's already choosing the final 11, and I do expect it to be. My only thing is the back line. Because the trouble is, we have depth. No. What I mean is, listen, we have so much depth now in the back. Would it surprise me if he went cushion off Gay, cushion off Diaz, Gabat? I don't know.
Does it matter? We have an abundance of talent.
Yeah, I think in the back line, I think the midfield is probably going to be, if everyone's fit, it'll be Rodri, Bernardo, Doku, Semenyo, Cherky, Haaland.
Yeah.
I don't think, and Andrew, I don't think he will, because the thing is, Wednesday, this is going to sound really bizarre, but Wednesdays was the least important game in Pep's eyes compared to Saturday. Saturday is a final. Saturday to Pep is, and he mentioned it. This is when you're in a final, you're at life and death. And he rotated so heavily yesterday for the final.
Yeah.
And people have got this belief of, oh, well, they played well in that game, so that means he's going to play. No. There was nobody could do anything in that game last night. Pep's already chosen his 11, which is why I think I think Diaz is going to start. That is my shocker of it. I think Diaz is going to start on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go back to Diaz and I mean, would it shock me if he did Diaz Gvardiol? No. It really wouldn't. Because that was the back line we had for 3 months solid and we're winning.
Yeah, I don't know. When they're seeing his ankle, I don't know if we would be ready or not.
Mate, he was on the bench last night. He's fit. He's ready.
Oh, Jesus.
I think when that defence is announced, I'd be suspicious of anyone who argues it's tactically weaker or quality weaker. I think what people will respond to is who they would play and defend that. Yes. You know, they will have their own personal opinions, but then they'll confuse that and try to argue that whoever Pep's picked in the position of the player that they personally want is worse. And they will try and make argument. I've seen this happen time and time again. So someone is a big Gvardiol fan who's desperate for him to be there. Gvardiol doesn't get picked. Their argument can't be, I'm upset and emotional about that. Their argument will be, because he's better than whoever took his place in this regard, this, and this. And they'll try and make it a criticism of the player who was picked in the place of the player that they wanted. And it's not really, that conversation will happen. That will be what we're talking about. But it's not that interesting because of our abundance of talent.
Yeah.
But people will confuse their feelings with facts.
My back four, I would go with, you can have a few really, but I would go Nunez, Cousinov, Gay, and Gvardiol. But I don't care who else goes in there. Nori, I'd put O'Reilly on the bench for him to come on. And I have the middle, what Martin said.
See, Andrew says that he has him from the final from a cold. He brought Gvardiol back in from the cold, who hadn't played for 5 months.
That's right, true.
There was not even a bench stint for Gvardiol. No. That was, you're in. Yeah. That was his KDB moment. I keep saying this, but there are certain players, Pep, the minute they're fit, they go back.
Yeah.
Rodri's one. KDB was one. Haaland is one. Diaz is generally one in Gvardiol.
Yeah.
There are 5 or 6 players. If you are fit, you are back. There is no sort of even bedding in period. You're back. And
I mean, Nunez is only in there because we've got no cover anyway, really. Do you know what I mean?
And he's made it his own.
Yeah.
And I think rightfully
he owns it. He owns it. He's got a shop on it.
Yeah, I don't. Right, Oriano, you want to come on and talk about your boy?
Nah, man, I just think he's been treated like so. You can say it's unfair, and it's just weird because he starts in a semi-final against Southampton. He obviously scores. Then to not even be picked, like to go in the squad, I mean that sends a strong message. And we know Pep, he does, send some messages. If you just have to read between the lines, and that's worrying. And even after the press conference, he was like, thank you for the goal against Southampton, but it just doesn't seem like he likes him or rates him as a player. I don't know.
Didn't you all want ruthless Pep back? I remember in August, everyone said we need the ruthless Pep back.
Yeah, but that's the difference. I think Nico G's good.
Now you don't like it.
Because again, Nico G's good.
Point is to a player that you like.
No, because he was brought in as a backup, but to not even play as a backup is kind of worrying because Roger's injured, so he's never going to get a chance to play.
See, Matt, listen, I know Aussie jokes. I have no agenda on Nico G. I think he's a very good player. What I don't understand what's happened. The only thing I can think of is when Nico G was playing, and this is where we've got to look from a tactical point of view. And for some reason, people don't want to do it from a tactical point of view. They do it from an emotional and feelings point of view. When Nico G was playing, we were playing quick, transitional football. More long balls, a bit more direct. Ireland a bit closer to the back line, a bit closer to the Churka. So Turkey lays the ball off. Ireland sits on the last man, goes. Soon as Rodri come back at Sunderland away, we go straight back to tiki-taka football. The Pep way.
You play to your strengths, don't you?
He stopped inverting Doku. Now everyone's become a winger again. When Nico G was playing, everyone was inverted. That's stopped all now. Now we're back to, I'm going with my Barcelona way. Tick-tack, 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 and you're going to deal with it. Because again, and I think because we're in the business end of the season, it is what it is. Don't disagree. It's bad for Nico G, but I'm going to say this straight away now. Manchester City over any player for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know it's harsh,
like,
but it is.
Worrying.
Because no, but here's my thing, Oriana, and you know how long I've done these shows. Nobody was saying any of this about Nico G. At the time, everyone's saying it. Everyone's telling me now, Nico G was our man of the match. He was amazing. I've gone back and looked at all the thumbnails, everything of other shows and everything. No one was doing this Nico G prop. Nobody was.
I feel like it was happening though.
Since he's come out.
I think in the beginning of the season, I think he was getting a lot of attention and he was great. But I agree with you. We were playing a different style.
Gun to your head, Oriano. Who are you picking for Saturday, Nico G or Rodri?
No, of course it's Rodri, but for me, it worries me when he's not even playing when Rodri's injured. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
but why? Does every player need to? Did we say this about Calvin? I didn't hear anyone saying they felt sorry for Calvin Phillips.
No, Ariano, mate.
Nobody's saying they feel sorry for Savio.
Yeah.
At the beginning, Martin, he was playing when Rodri was injured. Nico G was in every week.
Yeah,
yeah, and people were giving him
transitional football
praise every week. I agree, but you can again the Newcastle game where we're playing more of that tiki-taka football. He was arguably the man of the match.
No, it was. No, I've gone back and done that. Nico Riley was the reason everyone was saying we won the game because that was the first time Nico Riley got used in the midfield.
I think that was the only game he got stuck in.
I'm talking about the game that Savinho was like the man of the match or something like that.
Yeah, that's a League Cup. That's a League Cup.
Yeah, I thought he was really good in that game. He arguably man of the match.
Why aren't we saying give Savinho the goal? Then he got man of the match that game.
No, well, we're on a different. We're talking about Nico G now. That's why. And I think Savinho played well yesterday. No,
you've just proved my point, Ariano. So you said Nico G got man of the match against Newcastle. He didn't. Savinho did.
No, I said he was arguably man of the match to some people.
But he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Savinho was heading above everyone.
I don't know. A lot of people were saying Nico G.
I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of revisionism going on with Nico G.
Look, it might be just me. I don't know, but I just think he's a good player, and I don't understand why.
I know he's a good player. I've never said he's a bad player.
No, I know. I'm not speaking about you specifically. Just in general.
Is he a Pep tiki-taka player?
That's the problem. I think he moves the ball a little bit too slow. But again, I think the difference between me and you is I think he can develop that part of his game, whereas I don't think you think that, right? That's the only difference with me. I think he can definitely develop that part of his game. But look, I may be wrong, and for him not to be in the squad is a bad sign.
I think it's a slow farewell, to be honest.
Yeah.
We can be emotional about that. I rate him. I don't rate him as a starter. I rate him as a backup player. He might not be happy with that. We'll never know. And so, he should move for his own sanity and his own future. Yeah. If Pep has lost faith in him, and I think it's clear that he has because he wasn't on the coach.
Trevor, though, the thing is with that, no matter who it is, we've got Rodri. So someone is going to be sat there, no matter who it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. Just when Rodri's injured and you don't play, that's just a worrying thing for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. when he hasn't been playing it. That's the thing.
Because I think we all know Rodri's better. Of course, it's obvious, but it's just when he doesn't play, that's the only worrying part.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not. Nico G's a good player, but we don't play the same way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And Andre said that no, because Pep's system works, Andrea. I don't put any player above the club. I want what's best for the club.
I have a question, right? I think it was on Terry's channel when LB mentioned this. It was like maybe match sharpness isn't there because he hasn't played this year, especially. So that could be a reason. I don't know. Maybe wrong, but I feel like it plays a part.
Well, I want to put this in. Had Kovacic been fixed, I think this is a great point. And again, this is not shared at Nico G.
Spot on.
When I asked a question about Pep, if Kovacic had been fit, is Pep playing Kovacic or Nico G?
Kovacic.
Pep, not us. Pep.
Kovacic. Yep.
Why?
Because he's a trusted player. He's gone through it all. Yep.
And that's what I mean. I don't think it's because Nico G's shit. I don't think Nico G. Unfortunately, Nico G's got a tag, which is very bad. And Pep's the one who gave him the tag. Pep has given him the tag. He's Rodri's backup. That's it.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds so emotionally cold and callous, but that's what Pep said. He's the backup.
I mean, that's how it is when you have world-class players. Just like Holland. Yeah. He's always going to have one backup that's really ever going to play. I accept that. Again, it's just when he's injured and he doesn't play, that's just very worrying. Because we've bought so many players in that position and it's kept failing. And I felt like at times you could have just gone for a more big money move like Bruno G, and we wouldn't have these problems right now.
Are you feeling sorry for Marmush, Reinders, Sabio?
Less so Savio because I think he's more of a project. It's a bit different, but with Marmush and Reinders, I think Marmush is a good player, but as I said, when you have world-class players, they're not gonna get ahead of them, and I think Marmush has to leave for,
the nuance point about Marmush is that as long as he's happy to be playing in the role he has in the team right now, there's no fucking way we should let him go anywhere.
Oh yeah, I would definitely keep him.
No way.
I think he's a great player. Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, if he's happy to do what he's doing, and he's getting 300 grand a week for it, which I'm fine with, right? Because we're not going to find many people who will be happy doing that, and that's worth something. So, I don't ever want to see Marmush leave our club because he's a predator. Yep. He's an absolute predator in the box.
That's right.
Very different to Haaland, but that goal that he scored, facing away from the goal, he had to beat two players, twist, and then twat it into the goal. Absolute predator goal. And I saw him do that before he signed. When I watched all these goals for his German team, that's the kind of player he is. He's an absolute predator. Don't worry about it, Luke. And that is rare as fuck.
Yeah.
But
I think he's at a stage of go.
I'm sorry, but this is the cold hard truth. We can debate things, but he's like, Stephen, we're not here to understand the way our coach plays or doesn't play certain players. We can't understand reasons. And again, because the thing is, we're not in training, we're not in privy in conversations.
Yeah, he knows.
Like last night, everyone had a meltdown on that lineup. Well, they weren't having a meltdown at 95 minutes. Everyone was quite happy at 95 minutes.
Yeah.
Before the game, everyone was having hissy fits, heart attacks. Pep's a racist.
But we're saying this as like an emotional standpoint,
I know. Yeah.
Martin, we know he would never do it. Pep won't do it. But I'd like to have seen one game where Nico G does the pivot with Rodri. Put him in the 8, Rodri in the 6.
Problem I have with that is I think they're too similar as players in a way, because they're both a little bit more defensive minded. I don't think it would work together, but yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see us still test it out.
I think this is part of the problem, and I'm calling this now. 15th of May. I'm going to call this now. Not from me, not from this channel, but I know it's going to go out on Twitter. It will go out and it will spread like wildfire. I said Diaz is the victim of Kushner, which is sad because you should back all the players. We shouldn't big up a player by putting the other player down. I said Diaz is going to be a victim of this, and he has been. Elliot Anderson's going to get this.
Hasn't we just signed a 4-year extension?
Yeah.
Diaz?
Elliot Anderson's going to get this. There are already people. I'm not going to go at you, Andrea. I'm just saying. I know this is coming because you're not the only one who's mentioned this. Someone's saying, is Elliot Anderson better than Nico G? So they're already marking Elliot Anderson before he's even in the door now. Because what some have done is, like Trev said earlier on, and we all do it, I do it with Foden. All players, all fans put an emotional attachment into players. And they love them and they want them. And they're the players that will never get criticised. And they're the ones they feel sorry for. They're the ones they back. They're the ones they want playing. And unfortunately, for the Nico G fans, which is okay, you can be a Nico G fan, Elliot Anderson's going to get a kickback from it.
But then what I said next, Martin, then what I said next has happened. We are now discussing who's better tactically. You know, because the favourite player people on this particular bit of the conversation want their player, and it's perfectly fine to want that and be emotional about it. It's an emotional game. Being a fan is emotional. But we've moved on now to the next step of the conversation, which I predicted, which is now we're starting to compare them tactically about, you know, so we've actually brought in a hypothetical signing player to say how he could or could not play better with Anderson, with Rodri better than Nico G. This is not a serious conversation.
No,
it's pretty
simple,
Trev. Trevor, it's pretty simple. What you said, it's what we need. What are we missing? What do we need?
The skills?
What the name is? Yes, doesn't matter what the name is. What are we missing?
What skills are we losing?
Yep.
What skills are we losing? Rodri's not going.
And I'm going to apologise.
Yeah,
if you can Google translate that, I don't know what it says.
It won't give me players who answer that question. They immediately start bringing names in. And even when I frame the question, as I have done several times, don't bring any names into the answer to this question. Hypothetically, Rodri's going. I don't believe it, but say he is. What skills do we lose when Rodri goes? And we made a list of them. Because then when you know the skills we lose, you can't answer with a name. You can't answer with a name. And you have to answer with the skills first.
But Anderson is the closest to that thing. That's why he's mentioned. That's why he's the top pick.
I think I disagree a little bit on that.
He's closest to it.
I think I disagree. I disagree a little bit because I don't know about his ability going forward if he's going to be in the number 8. He's a bit more. I think defensively, he's exactly what we need. We need that type of midfielder. We've lacked that a little bit this season, but we haven't really seen him go forward. That's my only concern. But I don't know. Like, I'm gonna admit I haven't watched like a lot of him, but when I have watched him, I don't know about him going forward because a lot of the times he's played as a 6 at Forest when I've watched him. So it depends.
I think he's been box to box.
Let me read the list out of the skills.
At times, I don't know. Maybe wrong.
I'm really uncomfortable talking about Rodri going because I don't think he is, but he's the example that everyone wants.
You won't like the next section of the show then, Trev.
So when Rodri leaves, here's what we lose. Leadership, strong in the tackle, distribution, passing range, and tempo setting. And that first one is really the most important one to me, leadership. So we've got those 5 qualities that we will lose should Rodri go, right? And that was a consensus. The whole group came up with those 5 things. People argued about some of those that aren't in that list, or they are, but I'm not reading them out. These are the 5 where the whole chat agreed, right? So that's what we got: leadership, strong tackler, distribution, passing range, and tempo setting, right? So those are the skills we have to replace. That's when you start looking for players. Not one player. Oriano just said, oh, well, Anderson's not good going forward. Right. The thing is, not one player is going to replace all of those skills. We can't clone Rodri. But when people are looking at who should come in to replace anybody, you should look at it the way that the club is definitely looking at it. And it is, what are we losing? What are the skill sets that are leaving us that we need to replace with one, maybe two players, maybe from within existing players from the squad, and then we look at who we buy in to compensate. I think it's a much saner way to look at it. I might be wrong.
And what?
Don't get.
And going,
I'm not saying that that's the law.
Trev, going off that, Trev, like you say, he might not be good in one aspect, he'd be good in a couple of others, but he's not on his own in there. The other midfielder can do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that was just a little concern I had.
That leadership role from behind the midfield. Gvardiol has got the passing range and the vision. So will we be damaged? Gvardiol can step up and compensate for that, for what we missed.
And you have Diaz for the leadership.
The leadership part is important because we are losing a lot of experience. So, they've got to up and go right away. Do you know what I mean?
That's what worries me a bit. I feel like we're very unbalanced.
Replacing everybody with kids. We shouldn't be getting too excited with kids. We need mature players. We need players who are leaders.
And we've lacked it this season. We've lacked it sometimes.
Three leaders on the pitch.
Yeah. Everton game was a prime example.
It's not even the kids thing. I've been thinking about this all day. For me, it's experience as well. Because I think I said this the other night, football's gone the other way. We used to say 28 was the prime of a player's career. People are now saying 28 is the end of a player's career. And they're coming to the end of it, and it's father time, and they're old yellow. Because someone think the thing that's crazy is, and I know it's a job, but people say, well, I won't give Bernardo a new contract, and I won't give this guy a new contract. But Rodri's 30. Oh, but we'll give him a 4-year contract. But Diaz is 28.
Yeah, we don't want that guy.
And he's shitting over the hill. But Rodri's 30. Let's double his wages and give him a 4-year deal.
You're right. But I think the rush to get rid of players is down to the market for transfer.
It's new toy syndrome, Trev.
No, it's a reflection of the rumor mill that is one of the biggest markets online. And so getting rid of players now has become a much lower threshold because, like you said, the new toy syndrome. But I think it's a product of the internet era. I think that we are in a rush to get rid of players at 28, whereas we never would have thought about that 10 years ago. But there's this massive market for transfers and buying players online.
You stick the tagline "Wonder Kid" in front of someone.
Yeah,
and that's it. And they've been christened and dined and everything. And
marketing has had a tangible effect.
Yeah, big up, Tom.
Maybe on the transfer market. It's certainly affected how we talk about it. People are in a rush to get people out the door because they've been shown a shiny new toy.
Because people are in a rush. Tell you where the rush has come. Because we've been so successful in 10 years. The most successful team in England over the last 10 or 15 years. We've gone 2 years potentially without a title. People are now more of a rush to, because it's like, the Diaz pace thing.
You're right.
Diaz had no pace 8 years ago.
Yeah, true.
I didn't hear anyone saying.
And Rodri was ploddery.
Yeah, Rodri was ploddery.
The Ballon d'Or winning plodder.
Yeah. Martin, people say that, you can't play this system with Diaz. We've always played it with Diaz. I don't know why it's a problem now, but
Diaz won Player of the Year.
Yeah, in the same exact system, high line and everything.
Premier League Player of the Year.
But now that Husinov is here, they want him to play, and they're sort of downplaying him, Diaz. So I think it's all like a cycle at times.
Valverde's off me now. There's a different reason. I'm not going to go into it because it's not my place. Valverde's not my guy anymore.
By the way,
read into that issue with Tushimani or whatever it wasn't good the way that went down.
But by the way, can you smash them likes up? Blood fam in it, sounding like an Arsenal fan now.
I thought you sounded like LB.
Smash LB when he's on an Arsenal channel or when he's on.
And by the way, LB knows I love him. He knows that's banter.
No, we love him.
Good evening, Danny. How are you?
How you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm all right. Are you?
Yeah, I'm just what I finally just got warm. It was a bit nippy tonight.
I'm still listening. I'm going to make a brew.
Yeah. Well, I'll start the next section then.
Right.
So you don't get, and then you can come in a minute.
If it's the pep out section, I'm not even going to listen. I'm just going to make a brew.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a brew.
Right. Look at everyone now. Bye. See ya. I'm out of here, guys.
Oh, it's the morning here, so I've got to make a coffee.
No, you want to go make eggs and bacon and all that, and you're not doing it. You're not hiding. Right. This was Pep, by the way. Some comments from tonight's game. He said, winning the Youth Cup every season, I'm so impressed by the talent we produce at the CFA. I see when the young players train with us. I hope everyone in the academy enjoys this achievement because it's a reward for all the hard commitment. Right. I don't know if everyone knows this, and this is where you've got to be a bit careful.
That's not me tonight.
Yeah, I know it was. You've got to be careful because not many don't do this. The academy train with the first team 2 or 3 times a week. They do train 2 or 3 times a week. So, yeah, just be a little bit careful with that one. Of how you're viewing it, etc., etc. Because Pep will he's always keeping an eye on the academy. I should have brought that up in the academy section earlier on. What I was going to bring up is the news has come out today from Sam Lee earlier on. One of them I already knew, which anyone who's been in my spaces knows why I've been kicking back on the Donnarumma Trafford debate for so long.
Mm-hmm.
There was a falling out last season between Edison and the goalkeeping coach. Pep backed his goalkeeping coach that year. Goalkeeping coach has had a little bit of an issue this year as well with some incidents. Pep's backed the player. Then the news has come out today from Sam Lee that Javert, the goalkeeping coach, is going to leave at the end of the season. It has also come out that Pep's longtime fitness coach, Lorenzo Bonaventura, who has worked with Pep for 15 plus years, is going to leave at the end of this season as well. So the goalkeeping coach, and you'll know who I mean. You know who he is. You'll see him every game. He's in the background. He's there with Pep all the time. He's training. He's warming the players up on the pitch every single game. He's leaving at the end of the season. So this has obviously led to more rumours of Pep Guardiola. It's not. I can't go into it. I'm not going to go into it. I'm here. I'll tell you. Which then led to this today. There was rumours of this. That was for Bernardo. That has been confirmed. The video doing the rounds. Ben Jacobs is right. That is the send-off for Bernardo Silva. Which pisses me off a little bit. It's a good job Rich in there, because why is John Stones not getting that then?
Yeah, true.
Why is it just for Bernardo? Because John Stones has been here for 10 years and won all them trophies as well. But hey ho. That is not Pep. None of those are Pep. I've had that confirmed. None of them are Pep that are there. So all them trophies are there, and that was for Bernardo. That is 100% for Bernardo Silva. So here's my question. The goalkeeping coach is going. By the way, the other coach that is leaving has been everywhere with Pep, from Barcelona to Bayern Munich to Manchester City. Coincidence? And I'm not saying Pep is leaving here. I'm just, when there's smoke, we have to talk a little bit. I can't just ignore it because his backroom staff are leaving. Who wants to kick off that one?
What about Pep Wenders?
Don't know.
Yeah, I feel like if Pep was leaving, we would have heard about Pep Linders a little bit more.
All I've been told about him is he's got a 1-year option, and that's all that's been said.
I mean, it feels like he's going to leave, to be honest.
So if Pep goes, Pep Linders is going to be there anyway. So it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So if you're Pep in his final year, you're going to need a new goalkeeping coach and a new fitness coach for 1 year. My question is then, has there ever been a falling out, or have they decided to go a year before Pep?
You didn't mention Colo either, did you?
I don't know about Colo. I'm asking the question because they are both going.
I mean, it's nothing new in changing backroom staff, is it?
After 15 years, it is.
And that's the only thing that's a bit concerned about is the time frame of it. But
for his last year, for his final year of his contract, would you just chuck the 15 years down the drain? You might as well just do the last year and do 16 years.
Yeah, especially because he's been throughout like Barcelona, Bayern, and all that. So
unless an opportunity has come up for him and he has to take it, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
This seems like a situation where there's a lot of context missing and there's just headlines coming out. There's more to it and we don't know about it.
Do you know what it is, Danny? I'll explain this. All the media buffs, no one will put their name to it, but privately they're all saying they've been told Pep's going. Pep's backroom staff, or two of his main ones, are going. The only thing we're missing now is the Pep going. And I hope Pep's, I'm going to say it again, I'm not saying Pep is leaving. It doesn't help the smoke without fire situation. It's like me. I can tell the world my wife's not leaving me. I'm not getting a divorce. Everything's hunky-dory. But my wife is not seen at the house for a week. I can keep saying she's not leaving me, but she's not there. People are going to ask questions. And I think this, so I said something a while ago. And I know Trev hates this and he disagrees with it, and that is fine. That's why we're here. We're going to debate in a very adult way of, would it just help if the club said something at this point now?
For me, you get all the noise, Martin. The noise is everywhere. But for me, I'm a believer that Pep's true to his word and he does honour his contract.
It's a fair point.
And that's me. That's where I am with Pep. I don't care about the noise. He honours his contract. So going off that, he's got another season. Unless after the FA Cup final or in the summer we find out he's either extending or it's his last year and we get behind him.
I think after the FA Cup final we'll know more about it.
We have the man himself on the 22nd of April in a direct response to a journalist asking him about next season. Oh my God, you've asked me 1,000 million times. I have a year left on my contract. Blah, 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 blah. I believe him beyond all of the Ouija boards.
That's right.
Beyond all of the tea leaf.
Backroom staff going is not Ouija board.
That's
it's
not
Pep. It's not him.
No, but it's his biggest.
It is reading the tea leaves, mate. You're looking into something that's not Pep happening that means that Pep might be going.
But it doesn't help the speculation.
Sometimes it feels like people are rooting for it. This is why I say
no one's rooting for it, Chad. But like I said,
catastrophe. No,
just looking between the lines a little bit.
Like saying you're not moving house, but all your furniture keeps going out the house.
That other
you're not moving house.
It's not that. It's your next door neighbours are moving.
But they're not.
It's not his house.
Like Trev, his longest serving coach is going.
Fine. You can live next door.
I'm
to
the
somebody
goalkeeping coach.
What about?
I'm the goalkeeping coach.
What about his other right hand man that he had? That Lil. He's been.
He's gone.
For a long time.
That's his best mate.
Yeah, he went, but Pep's still here.
Yeah, he went to a job.
That was something I was just going to say. I mean, we talked about earlier about a ruthless Pep. Just let's play devil's advocate. We've just got Donnarumma in. What if this goalkeeping coach isn't bringing to the table what he should be for Donnarumma? And he said, you know what? next season's my last season. I want to win that league. You need to go. I need to get a new goalkeeping coach.
Good point.
Just as a devil's advocate. I get how long he's been there, but if he's not providing what he needs for Donnarumma, has Pep gone, right, enough's enough. I've got one more year. I'm full sending it. I want everything next season.
That's right.
You need to go.
Or what if he's extending and he wants something new? Because that it could be maybe extends like 2 years and he wants maybe new staff. Who knows? New ideas. We don't really know. So yeah, this could mean a lot of things, but it's just the way you look at it.
No, I'm looking at it from both sides, and I think
Yeah.
I think to be fair, we have to look at it from both sides.
I don't
Absolutely,
think
you're right to do that. You're right to do that. But I just think it's the headline. This is what it's the media. They want him out. We were saying this the other night. They want him out. They can't wait. Any headline, clickbait, bang, there you go.
And this will all get the views.
Back
Him saying won't get the views. It's when he leaves.
What does Sam Lee get out of Pep leaving?
Clicks.
What does Simon Majowski get out of Pep leaving?
Engagement. It's part of their job. They're bosses. They may not like doing it. Most of them don't, but they have to get a certain amount of engagement clicks to keep their jobs. And the easiest clicks you can get, there's two subjects, and we know what they are. 115, Pep's going. Rodri going is perhaps number 3 in that. The market for that, just think about this logically. The market for a Pep's leaving story is every fan that hates Man City. That's exponentially more people who will click on that story, right? Pep's staying story, the only market for it is our own fans. It's a fraction of the overall market. So it just makes absolute sense if your numbers are down or your editor's on your case or your producer's giving you shit that you need to get your engagement up because you're a bit down this month. You drop a Pep's going hint, or you drop a 115 hint, or you drop a Rodri hint, or some other bad news about
especially
City.
Before a cup final.
Every Tarquin, every Scouser, every rag in the world is clicking on that. But Rodri's fit and happy and he's going to extend. Only City fans click that. It's just the business. Doesn't mean that Sam's a bad person. Doesn't mean that Stephen's a bad, any of them. It doesn't. Some of them are bad people, by the way.
The only way we would have known.
You want to hear how they talk about fans, away from the public eye. They think we're scum. But
Pep would have walked. The only way Pep would have walked is he said it right at the beginning of the charges. He said, if the club are lying to me, I will walk.
Yeah.
And it's never come out. So until that happens, he'll honour his contract.
Yeah, and if you look ahead of next season, like we have so many good players that are going to develop more. And I mean, I feel like we're going to win the league comfortably next season because you're going to have more experience. The players have gone through it. So I don't see why he would leave such a year behind because I think it could be a successful year. And as you said, he's never left if he had any years on his contract. So why would he do it now?
I just can't see as well why. Well, sorry, Martin.
So I don't agree with as well because as football channels, City channels, we have to talk the news. No one's here to do the told you so bit. But we do have to talk about it.
No, he's talking about, I think Curtis is talking about journalists.
Yeah, but again,
I told you last year that Guardiola was going and I was right. That is journalism.
Trev, this is where me and you have had this debate a few times now. I would agree with Fabrizio and David Ornstein. I don't agree with the local journalists.
No, but they're under the same pressure as every journalist to get engagement. It's part of how they're
No. All I'm saying is you have to open your mind to it could happen as well. And everyone, I'm going to be honest, there's a fear, and I can see it in everyone. There is a fear.
That's my other theory, though.
No, but that's my
other theory.
There's a fear of that going.
Let's bring my other theory in.
I agree with Martin because they are closer to the club. People like Simon and that, they are closer to the club. So I can sort of see where you're coming through that way. But all the others that are not close to the club, I don't. It's all head noise to me.
Yeah, listen, I'm the David Ornstein I don't get. Fabrizio Bet I kind of do because he has the same agent as Rihanna, and I don't find that a coincidence. because Fabrizio had every story on Manchester City bang on last summer. Bang on. Everything that Fabrizio tweeted was bang on correct what City were trying to do and doing.
Yeah,
they were looking at Rodrigo. They were doing Reinders. They were, there was interest from Tottenham in Savio. None of that was ever disputed.
How many fails does he have? Does anyone
No, Trev, I'm not, again, I said since Viana. And I know you think I've got an issue with Viana. I don't. What I'm saying is, my issue is, we as a fan base, and this is just my theory, I think people call it an agenda, and I've never, because I get this people, they say to you, you've got an agenda, you want Pep out, and I'm like, no, I don't. I want Pep to stay 10 years. If I did an Instagram or a show on transfers of everyone signing for Manchester City, it'd be love hearts and sweets and kisses and hugs and everything else. If I did a show on someone else,
I don't say that you should not report the tea leaf reading news. I never would say that. You have to report it, right? But you should report it in the context of tea leaf reading.
What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to look at both sides.
Seriousness. So, and that's fine. To go back to your other point, from the psychological point of view, because not everyone listens to every show, so I should repeat it. There is an element, a huge element in the fan base that catastrophize. And that means what catastrophizing is when you imagine the worst thing, the thing that's frightening you, the thing that you don't want to happen. You imagine it as being real because you think it's going to hurt less should it happen. Right? And there's a lot of that in the fan base at the moment, in that a lot of people are convincing themselves early that Pep's definitely going and will read every bit of tea leaf reading as an indication that he's going, right? They will believe that above anything else because they want to prepare themselves for the trauma of Pep going. And that's fine. I'm not built that way. Doesn't mean I'm better than you. But I don't catastrophize. I wait for the reality and the truth.
Yeah.
Because trust me, even if you press your toothache, the toothache being Pep's going, and you press it, it gives you only temporary relief, like with a toothache. When you get a toothache, you push it, and it stops hurting for the minute you're pushing it. But the moment you remove your finger, it still hurts exactly the same as it did before. That's an analogy of catastrophizing.
No, fine.
And so. The bad news about catastrophizing, lads and ladies, is that no matter how much you do it, it's still going to be as traumatic if he does leave when he leaves. So
can I play you a clip? Can I just share part of the Simon Wojciechowski stuff with Stephen? I'll do it for a minute so I don't get in trouble off Stephen. I don't think he'll have a thing. I don't think he'll have a problem with it. I'm just going to see if I can do it. Right. Then let me know if you can all hear it.
Awfully close to next week.
Yeah.
Makes you naturally suspicious. So if I had to put any money on it, I would say that he's leaving. But we're getting awfully close to next week and the end of the season, and he is quite happy in the sense that the season's ending.
Yeah.
If I was Pep and I was leaving, I would want it announced as close to the end of the season as possible. So we're talking the last week of the season, really, after the FA Cup final.
Next week.
Yeah. And but then also, there's been quite a rush on to get this new North Stand open. While not being perfectly finished for the final game of the season, it is to see off Bernardo and John Stones, and it would be an amazing way to see off Pep. But he has had so many opportunities before to say, "Yeah, I've done it all. I've finished. It's time to go," and he's not gone. And he is quite happy, and he does like the coaching setup, and he likes the players, and he's seen what a squad that will be better next season has already won. So
and he has a contract.
He has a contract. Yeah. The big thing in terms of him leaving is never said that I will see out that contract. And he's had loads of opportunities to say, yeah, I have a contract and I will be here. And he's never said that last bit. and that makes you naturally suspicious. So if I had to put any money on it, I would say that he's leaving. But we're getting awfully close to next week and the end of the season, and we don't know for certain either way.
Yeah,
That was just a tidbit from Simon Bajowska, who works at the MEN. Now, Trev's right. He has editors. He has everything else. I agree.
It's his opinion.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not just national. That's local as well now. They're all
But you have to self-edit out everything he said before he says but.
But I didn't self-edit. That was a live show.
No, you have to self-edit. You have to watch what I've just watched and all the bits that I was nodding about. And then he says but. And that's the bit that everyone is.
Yeah, he said, but we're getting rather close. I think what people think is close to
everything he said before that.
No. I've said the but thing. No, I've said the but thing.
In their brains, they're just hearing the bad news.
No, I've said the but thing. But the but, and I can play it again, was how close it is to the end of the season.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is, and this is the part I was trying to make the other night, he said, I've got a contract. He's never said, I'm honouring the contract.
Yeah.
Not
this
once.
is passing.
Do they really do that?
This is almost as bad as passing Pep's body language. He's never said the exact words that I want him to say that means he's staying. He's never said the precise words that are in my head that will convince me. Because let me tell you now, even if he said the exact words, a massive population will still not believe it.
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
Invested in not believing it.
No, I'm just right. So when people say where
where
you hearing it from, that is the general conception around the.
I love Simon Bajowski. I love Simon Bajowski. I wouldn't say that what he did with Stephen is click based, because those are clicks for Stephen, not for the publication he works for.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
That pays him money for getting clicks. It's a completely different scenario, and he was less committal there in his speculation than he has been in print or online. And to be honest, most of his stuff is pretty good about Pep.
Yeah, and that's what he says. He says, if I had to put money on it, he's going.
Yeah, but what he said to Steve, but you got to remember the peer group that he hangs out with are also, which are other journalists, are also convinced that Pep's going, and he will be influenced by that peer group too. So there are things that he can say that won't get him ridiculed in the press room, and there are things that he can say that will get him ridiculed. No journalist right now is willing to say, put a headline out, I believe Pep's definitely going, because they'll take the piss out of him, and then they'll slaughter him if Pep goes. So no one's going to take that risk. It's a much riskier thing.
Yeah, no, that's the part where I will agree. No one, and this is, and I know it's not from me, I got this from somebody else who speaks to one of the local journalists. They did say this to them. No one is willing to put their money on. But Samuel Bajowski's the first one there who said if they had to put money on it. Everyone else has stayed clear of that. Yeah. And the reason they've said is because Pep is prone to changing his mind. And that's what I said. Is that's what they're thinking in their head. Then you hear the two coaches are leaving today. Naturally, people are going to go 2 and 2 can equal 4. It may all be bullshit. No one is saying it's not bullshit. I'm just saying there's some evidence for, some evidence against. That's all I'm saying.
I think
there is no smoking gun. It's all collateral. The case is entirely collateral. It's like a criminal case.
It's like saying I 115. Then you've got the emails that make us look sus as hell. But we're all dismissing it. We're all saying they don't mean out. That's all.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But don't change the subject. Like stick with Pep. If it was a criminal case and you're there in court, what's the evidence when the police haven't got when they haven't got a smoking gun? What's the other evidence? What's the 2 types of evidence? Where it's circumstantial.
Circumstantial.
So all
but it can be.
The evidence that Pep is going is circumstantial evidence. Second-hand, third-hand inference. Right?
Yeah.
But there's no smoking gun. And but you know, I want a smoking gun. I want the evidence. Show me the evidence. Don't show me.
See, do you know what? Sam Lee doesn't help because I know about this disc. I went and looked at it the other day. I found it. And that's what he has said, that he's saying all the locals have been told he's going.
Who are the locals? Who are the locals?
Simon Bajowska, Jack Gorn, Martin Blackburn.
Bring it back up. Bring it back up. Let me read it. Sam Lee in his Discord server today said there are locals who have been told he's going, and there are millions of reasons why nobody has published anything yet. Also said a good chance that Nico G goes. Circumstantial.
No, I'm not denying it. But the trouble is, Trev, I get what you're doing, but someone could say you're just dismissing everything out of hand.
Martin, I have a question. Could the league play a part in this if he wins the league or not?
No, I don't think the league has any part in this.
Huh?
I wish it did. Do you know what? If that's the case, I don't want to win the league for 10 years. So we signed a 20-year deal, and we just keep finishing second, and we win all the cups
and get the UCL.
Yeah.
What's the Discord server? What's the Discord server?
It's on an app called Discord.
I know what Discord is.
I don't know. LG, you can put the Discord server where that is.
Yeah. Because like with all circumstantial evidence, you've got to look at it. You've got to look at all of it, not the second half report.
It's very big.
And Martin, you have to look at what he said. He did say
you
that.
a member? You got to be a member of Not Let Me Talk podcast, which is $4.99 a month. It's one of them. You know, like you get some people do Patreon. You've all heard of Patreon, I'm presuming.
Yeah, I'm not paying like
when you do the Patreon stuff. Because I only looked today because I do listen to the Let Me Talk podcast. I think it's very good with him and David Mooner. I like David Mooner. I think he's quite a good host. It's very relaxed and chilled. I like the 9320 podcast lads with Asan as well. I like a lot of the City stuff. I like Ian Cheeseman.
There's not a lot of managers now do 10 years, right?
No,
so
there isn't.
The questions are there when a manager, after 10 years, they're going to start asking questions. It's just a natural thing. There's not many do it these years. I personally, in sort of on the side, I thought he might try and match Fergie's record and carry on. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that's what I think. I'm still not ruling that out.
I think he's going to extend, to be honest.
The bit that doesn't sit right with me, maybe just I don't want to accept it, but we're going into the last week of the season and we've not heard anything from the club about it. How long he's been a part of this club? He loves this club, loves it. I can't imagine anyway he's going to leave till last week to decide if he's going next season, because that will just mess the club up. And plus, as well, everyone's going to want to say goodbye to him. All that's left.
But I think they have Maresca lined up.
But here's a question: mess the club up or mess the fans up?
Because they're not going to back. They've not got a backup plan.
I think it's more about the fans. Because they're going to buy Maresca. We all know that.
Oh, you bang on.
Yeah.
Maresca is the backup plan. That is the plan.
Yeah, I think it'll be bad for the fans, but I think it'll be fine for the club because I think they already have a manager they're going to bring in.
Well, someone asked me this yesterday. I think it was Danny Ellie later on. Would the Premier League want to do like a big doc? You know, like they did with Klopp. Because here's the thing:
nothing to do.
Say we hit July, we go into August, and Pep says at the start of the season, "I'm going to do a Klopp. This is my last year now. I'm not going to renew. I'm done in May. Don't ask me again. Don't offer me contracts. In May, I'm doing me 1 year. That's it. I'm doing my final year. We hit the season.
No.
We do a little bit of that. What's everyone all going to say?
The Premier League don't get on with us. They're not going to do anything.
But Governor, this is my point. Liverpool announced Klopp. It went tits up. Ferguson announced, went tits up. To a point, he had to renege on it. I don't know a manager who's announced he's leaving and we go have a good season.
Let me add
He was leaving, and we just about scraped 4th place because the players
won't do anything.
Let me add another layer to the appetite for Pep's going.
Oh, there's no appetite. Stop the appetite.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking
you're
about
the journalist. Right.
No, I'm talking about the internet now and the people who click on Pep's going stories, right? Who are all our rivals. Their agenda will be, mark my words, if Pep goes, and I don't believe he is, it will be, he's gone because he knows the 115 decision's coming. And they love that. They're already saying
that's what
it.
I agree with that.
They're already saying it. That's why there's this massive appetite for it. Because there's a massive appetite for a 115. So there's a convergence of 2 bad news things for City. The audience for that shit is massive. And it's noise because it's all circumstantial. But they can't wait to see that Guardiola left because of 115, because he knew what was coming.
I think it's an interesting question because I reckon it will. Well, we keep saying it's going to come out, but I reckon it will come out this summer. So
and then there's
an interesting question.
There's 4 more years,
and then we have the long goodbye for 12 months.
Yeah.
So back to the question last night. I don't think there's ever a good time for this situation to happen because nobody wants it to happen. It's like you know your wife's gonna leave, your husband. You know she's leaving you. You know she's having an affair. You don't want to say anything. You try and make it. These couples will go, you know what, we'll stay together for the kids. You know it isn't gonna fucking work. You know it's ending in tragedy at the end of it.
It's not a great analogy. It's not a good analogy.
But I know that's what I think people do, Trev. I'm going to be honest, I think people are scared of life after Pep.
That's right. That's why they're catastrophizing it. That's why they are trying to make it real in there before it happens because they think it's going to happen.
City fans who are terrified when Pep leaves.
Of course they are. They've seen what's happened over the road. They saw what's happened at United and they're thinking, God, that's going to be us. But they don't understand we've got a better hierarchy. Everything in our club is organised. We're not like that shit show over the road. So.
Bang on.
Listen,
that's also why they want Pep to go. Because they want what happened to them to happen to us.
Trev, you've heard from Alan. Alan is shit scared of when Pep goes.
I am. I don't want it to happen.
I'm not.
I absolutely don't want it to happen. But what I don't do is make it real in my head that he's definitely going based on TV freedoms.
No. I think some in the media are doing that, yes. But I think some fans are probably, because I'll be honest, I'm not going to name them. Some high-profile fans in this community that I know, they think Pep's going.
Yeah.
They won't admit it.
You got football.
They think Pep's leaving.
We carry on. He's a manager. We've had a great journey with him.
That's my point. Manchester City's bigger than any manager.
That's it. You just carry on.
Thank you. That's my whole point behind this.
So
we're not Pep Guardiola FC.
I do want to say something though, because in the video you pulled up, Martin, he did still say he likes the coaching staff a lot. He thinks the players. Yeah, but he did say he thinks the players have done really well, and he thinks that they'll do, really well next season and all that. So they're still, he's definitely still considering staying. I don't think he's, set his mind to leaving. So that's a good thing.
The thing is, the one because we'll bring this bit to an end. We are going to know next week.
Yeah, after
next
the final.
week is do or die. You're going to know 100%. If nothing's announced after Bournemouth, we hit Bournemouth and nothing's announced, he's staying. We can all go, well done. Great.
I've just sent you the clip that I refer to most often. Interestingly, when I posted this clip recently, one of the 9320 guys came back at me and said, that's not the 22nd of April. So I showed him the evidence that it was. And he says, oh, I will investigate and get back to you. Right? If you want to play the clip, I've sent it to you.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. Did he come back to you? Still loading.
Oh, no, it's 4 days and there's nothing come back. Because all the research I did before I ever posted that clip was to find out when it was. Right? And some people were saying, oh, there wasn't a game that day. It doesn't matter. That's the game that it was put out. That's the date that it was put out. That's the date that I found. And it was the 22nd of April. So You know, you can try and pull it apart. And if I'm wrong, I will go, I was wrong about that. He said it in January, or he said it in March, or whenever he said it. But the point is, the words are the same. Have you got it? Do you want to put it up?
I can actually confirm when it was. So what was the date you said?
22nd of April. I can show you the evidence. I can
No,
send you
because that background's Wembley.
I thought it was a Forest game. That's what I thought.
Someone told me it was Blackburn. Someone told me it was
no, because
somewhere else.
It's got. And then I'll tell you what's in the background.
All that I could find about that.
No, it's Burnley away. No, it is. It's Burnley. Who are Fanatics and Hummel? WA. Who's sponsored by WA?
Right.
Fanatics.
It's Hummel. So you need a Hummel sponsor.
Looking older.
W848 or whatever it is. Hang on. The reason is because that's an away ground. That's their sponsors in the background. Because they have to do that on the journalist thing. I know that. Right, include in W888, and who are their kit brand?
Hummel.
If this comes up as Hummel, then it is 22nd. It's Burnley away. Right, they are.
Well, about Fanatics with Burnley.
24, 25, 25, yeah.
Everyone's
sponsored by Fanatics now. Do you know why they're sponsored by Fanatics? Pastore, so it's not Burnley.
Oh, no, I've got it. This match coverage is from Burnley v Man City, April the 22nd, which City won 1-0, sending Burnley down and putting City top of the table. That's the research I got, and I looked at several.
Sponsored by Castora.
Yeah, but it was Burnley. It was the Burnley game. That's the evidence.
Well, then they've got a problem then because they're advertising another sports brand when they're sponsored by Castor. And I don't think they can legally do that. It's like us sponsoring Nike behind when we're sponsored by Puma.
Okay. Do you want to roll the tape anyway?
Yeah, no, play it.
Let people fight about what it was. I'm willing to be corrected on that, but I looked at 3 different sources to identify the.
Yeah, no, mate, I'm not denying that.
They all came back with the same thing. So
I just know it's Hummel. You'll see it in the background in a minute. It is Hummel.
Yeah.
Burnley are sponsored by Castor.
Anyways, man, I do have to go. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, big up, mate. Thank you very much.
Take care, mate.
Here we go.
Right.
As long as I don't want copyright.
Can't see it.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on screen now.
Okay.
It's just because it's a video, it takes time to. Here we go.
Still intend to be Manchester City manager, Lexi?
Oh my God. I have a contract. I said 1,000 million times. I know you are bored of me. 10 years here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. You know, I will leave one day. I promise you. I promise you. But I have contract. I'm happy. I want to fight with my team.
Is he lying? Is he lying? Didn't he say exactly the words you want him to say? The precise sentence. Even if he says it, even if he says the precise sentence, you won't believe it because there's no fucking.
I'll tell you why it's not Burnley away, Trev. I'll tell you why it's not Burnley away.
Well, the background was red, so I mean, does that have
not
that
Burnley
in it?
away? I'll show you now. This was Burnley away.
Yeah, it could be. Eh?
That's Burnley away.
That's what I'm saying. The colour in the background.
So maybe I've got the wrong date. But even if he said it when we played Sunderland, even if he said it in January.
Hey, we're doing investigations now into background.
Even if it was January, do his words mean less? Play the words again.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But what we're saying is, I agree with you. We need to know the date of that, though. Because things can change.
We don't, unless it was
Trev,
last
I
season.
can say I love someone 6 months ago and hate a gut 6 months later.
If he said it in January, you're saying he didn't mean it.
No, I think I said it. I'm saying if you can mean it in January, things might have changed by May.
I think it's true to his word.
That's all I'm saying. You can change your mind.
Listen, people's circumstances do change.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I think he's true to his word, but circumstances. I'm in the game. It's the same.
Play it again. Just play it again, Martin.
But I need to know the date, Trev.
No, it doesn't matter.
I see it all the time.
It does. That's why Asan asked you for the date, because I need to know the date so I can correspond. Because if he said that 7 months ago, you're telling me he can't change his mind in 7 months.
Chat saying it's Sunderland. I thought it was Sunderland.
Well, that was January the 1st. That was
New Year's Day, wasn't it? New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. That's 4 months later.
I'm in the.
So all the words that he said mean nothing because it was.
No, Trev. I'm not saying it doesn't mean something. I'm saying it means it. My question is, can things not change?
But that's you rooting for him going.
I'm not rooting. I'll tell you what it is, Trev. Trev, I've studied law, so I have to look at both sides of a coin as evidence. I can't play something from a year ago in a court and then use it as evidence 3 years later. Because a lot of things have changed in 3 years.
It's definitely not a year ago because he says I've got 10 years left.
Trevor,
so it's probably the Sunderland away one.
I'll give you an example. I'm in management rights, right? And I speak to owners all the time, and you think they're going well, and then their circumstances change, and they have to sell their property. Like, circumstances change. You just don't know what's coming.
Have our circumstances changed?
No, in his personal life or whatever, we don't know. We don't know at all. But he has, he's got a contract, and I still think he'll go to the end. To the end of his contract.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will. Yes, it was Sunderland away. First,
okay. I've just done another AI search. The day before April 21st for the Burnley game. Video says Haters TV sports coverage, the 22nd of April. Oh my God, the reaction.
You're frozen, Trev.
Yeah, you're frozen at the minute. I've got it here, Trev. I've got the whole thing. I'll share it. I'll share the full video. Oh, no, that's not good. Don't know where I'm going. Hey, I feel like I'm on detective. I like this tonight. I like this detective work.
I mean, you got to look
at it. We can break that video down a bit more as well if you really want to.
That is the background.
Just we missed score a goal in the 6-yard box. We have many there. Good actions against a fantastic team. But I'm so proud and delighted the way we played. And this is, it doesn't look.
We would come back in those circumstances.
Well, football is about the players. We miss him a lot, so hopefully.
I agree on the players.
Sorry, football happened. Nothing happened.
So it's Sunderland. What date was that?
1st of January.
Even the first half.
1st of January.
We're talking the first half. 7 times in the 6-yard box. Not win. So, but it's up to game.
Okay, we'll set the embargo there for 1:30 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
So the case now is then
the embargo section, so I can't get it.
Because he said it in January, it's less true. Is that what you're saying?
No. What we're saying is what he said at the time, 100% true. What we're saying is, and this is what everyone says, and he said this himself, Pep. He can change his mind.
Yep. Yeah.
If it was, do you know what? If it was 22nd of April, I'd actually be in your corner now going, yeah, it was 3 weeks ago. Now it's 5 months ago. Things kind of changed in 5 months.
There is one part.
That's a long period of time.
Martin, there was one part of the season where obviously his private life with his
I feel like we're in court now. It's a good. Hey, listen, it's a good.
I was about to break that video down a bit more and go, did you not see the start when he's going, as if saying, stop asking me this question. I've got a contract. Do one.
No, Dan, it's the embargo section. Yeah. It's the embargo section, and they don't put that up.
Martin, I thought when he's had trouble with his wife, I thought, depending on the person, he could have pulled the pin then. It could have been too much, and he'd pull the pin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he carried on. So,
and
See, I would
listen,
think if he was going to go, to me, I would think, I'd like to think he would tell the club November, December at the latest. They've got time to plan. Out of curiosity, when did all that Maresca stuff start?
December.
So, see, I believe that.
Now you're connecting the dots now, Danny.
But hold on, though.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
is there a possibility in November, December he said, I'm going? And then that in January could have been a diversion, because he's not going to want to say then, I'm going. He's just batting the question away. Because in them presses, we're playing Pinocchio sometimes in them presses. He's telling them what they want.
I can understand Trev. Is Pep's not lying though, is he?
I think the club already know.
But has he changed his mind again? Because they could get Maresca lined up and he'd go, do you know what, I'm staying. And they'll go, not a problem, Maresca, see you later, Pep's staying. Because they would do. They won't pick Maresca over Pep.
Yeah, he's, do you know.
What I can't just get my head around is we're going into the last week and we haven't heard anything.
I know.
That's the bit I can't get my head around.
Did you know why? Because there's still a cup final to come and a league title to win.
So we don't know before the final.
Listen, I've gone into Treble. I'm backing us for the title again now. Screw it. I'm getting on the title race coming up.
Hey, I said the other night, I'm not giving up on that. Told you. Burnley.
I think I agree.
Michael Jackson's going to do us a favour.
Chamon.
It's going to be a thriller.
Yeah, I was about to say we're going to have a thriller against Miller.
No, but in my head though, look at the players that have left. Go on, sorry.
I agree. I don't think they want head noise before the final. That's why it's not been mentioned. I don't think.
I get that, but from a fan's point of view, like KDB last year, 2 months before he left, he announced it. Bernardo this year and John Stones 2 months before. If they announce Pep's leaving next week, that gives people 2 chances to see him. Bournemouth, where we get a small allocation, so hardly any fans are going to get a chance to say goodbye.
I'm going.
And I'm going as well. I'll see you down there.
Oh, there you go, then. The real boys are there. We're down there at Vitality on Tuesday.
But you know what I'm saying? And then a Villa game that's sold out.
Is that now actually sold out, Villa?
Well, it is officially sold out, isn't it?
Because we've got a lot of seat counters on the internet right now. Everyone's seat counting. They've even got Crystal Palace fans seat counting now.
Bless them.
Every bugger's seat counting all of a sudden now.
Yeah, they're making lovely images as well.
I could, Luke. I want a madness on the last day, mate.
But you see what I'm saying? How much Pep means to this club? They're going to want the fans to be able to say goodbye to him. And they want to. I'm sure they want to give him as many chances and many games as possible to come and see one last time.
Do you know what's kicked all this bloody off? Is City trying to get that stand frigging open? Because everyone's thinking the Pep Guardiola stand. Which is, and you know what? I can't stand the bloody. Is anyone going to the test event, by the way? I need to get off because listen, what will be will be. I want Pep to sign 20 years. I don't want him to go. If I could chain him to the Etihad exit gates, I would. 1000% would. Listen, 100%. I'm with you. By Tuesday, we'll know. Because like you said, they'll have to announce it so we can all.
When's the test day, Martin? I thought
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Still not sold out as well.
Are you going to that, Dana?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to it. No. Yeah, I'm a bit like you in terms of what's gone on in that stand.
But hang on a minute. How is it ridiculous? See, this is the other side of the coin. How is it ridiculous?
Because, like me, he's doing the opposite of catastrophizing, which is living in a perpetual state of denial.
But and that's the thing. I think everyone's in the 2 stages, aren't? Do you know what it's like? This sounds so bad. It's like stages of acceptance when someone dies or something. You know, you go through the grief, the acceptance stage, and all that. Everyone's going to need counselling when Pep goes.
Do you know what? It's not me. I'm not in denial or anything like that. I've accepted he's going one day. and I'll be gutted, and nothing I will do will be like I'll be crying my eyes out in that stadium when he goes.
But
I'll admit that's it.
You know what, Danny?
I mean,
you won't accept it for about a week. You'll sit there numb.
Yeah.
Be rocking back and forth in my chair, going.
Me too.
And do you know
what you said earlier was really important.
City are that good at planning. It really wouldn't, and it would. Do you know what? Because I don't think people call Pep an ego. I don't think he is an ego. I think he used to do. I think since he's been in Manchester, he's changed as a human. You look at Pep the first year at City. Look at Pep now. It's like a completely different human being.
He was a tourist in Manchester when he arrived.
He now feels part of furniture.
He's totally a mank. He's just become so mank.
By the way, can we just make sure we smash those likes? Super chats are available. We are trying to.
If you know the history of Manchester as a city, especially during the era, the golden days of fascism, you will know, like the Spanish Civil War, Catalonia, and he will have learned the history of Manchester because he's he's a guy who's interested in that kind of stuff. And there are so many ways to bind the Catalan way of looking at the world and Manchester. You know, from the riots to the we battered Oswald Mosley when he turned up in Manchester. We dragged him off a bus and kicked his head in. You know, loads of Mancunians went to the Spanish Civil War to fight against Franco and fascism. The cotton workers of Manchester went on strike in support of the emancipation of slaves in America. Abraham Lincoln wrote the people of Manchester a letter. I reckon Pep knows some of this stuff. I reckon he'll have learned some of the history of the city.
Well, he's got into politics a lot more now, hasn't he?
And that will make him much closer to the city than anything else. Because Manchester is more like a Catalan city than it is like a Parisian city or, a French city or whatever, although there are Catalan areas of France. But I think that history has got its hooks into him as well, because he is an expert in the history of Catalonia. He really cares about that. So, he'll have read his Orwell. He'll have read, about Orwell going to the Spanish Civil War. He'll know all of that history. Spanish kids are taught that history from very young, So Pep will know all that, and he'll know Manchester's involvement.
Martin knows my take on Pep. When Pep leaves, he'll have a good break, and I want him to get the England job because he knows all the English players. It'd be great for him to get the England job. He won't get the Spanish job because of the Catalan thing.
Well, someone said, how does he keep find himself? See the one when he got filmed in a lift recently? He just
I thought it was quite old. Was that not an older video, though? I'm sure it was an older video. Because he had, it's like from 2-3 teams ago, because he had the Manchester, it was Manchester on the front of it and I did it 3 times. Yeah, I think it was for a couple of seasons ago.
He's going to be mayor. He's going to take Andy Burnham's place as mayor. That was in the chat.
That's what I mean. You look how comfortable he is now. He's even talking politics. And, well, when you think of the owners he's got and he's doing all that and he's like, I just don't care. I'm going to look what he says about Catalonia and Spain. I'm not being. Pep's just grown into his own man, being himself. He's happy in his own skin. And you know what? I think he's matured as a human, as a manager, and as everything while he's been here. And this is why he said, I will always talk about Manchester City as we. He said, I'll be 90 and it'll be we. Because this is part of... He'll never manage another club in England. No. He's never managed another club in Spain. He'll never manage another club in Germany. He'll never manage another club in England. And that's why the 2 destinations he's talked about the most are Italy and a national coach.
Ciao bella, ciao bella. Some people will understand that reference.
I could just see him going. I could see him sitting in the old lady over at Juventus and having a great. And and I'll break some other news that I don't think his time at Manchester City will be done because I think he'll come back to the CFG in some capacity. Would it surprise you if he became a director in 10 years and he just followed Ferguson's road? No.
No. because Ferguson's road was a road to nowhere.
Well, you know what I mean. Ferguson's road is on the board.
Somebody else on another podcast. I do listen to other podcasts, other podcasts. By the way, I'm a bit of a slag, but somebody made this point. It might have even been on one of the Mancunian Way podcasts. I can't remember. Somebody made this point, and it's a conspiracy theory that I put out a few weeks ago that people just went. That some people went, oh, that's bollocks. And what I said was, and I still believe it's a good situation. Pep stays for his year with his replacement, and they have a season handover. That to me is the perfect situation. Because it's never been done, people don't accept that it can be done. And my response to them that day was, this club does the impossible every year. So because it's never been done, doesn't mean that we can't be the first club to do it and make it work.
I think it's
already been done. Say that because as a joke before, I was going to say, with all this noise, imagine if next season Pep stays and Maresca turns up in his backroom staff just to get rid of all this noise.
The goalkeeping coach.
You know what?
The goalkeeping coach.
This is where you've all missed it. He's already done it. He's done his tutelage under Pep. That's why.
Yeah, well, maybe he needs a refresher.
Yeah, true.
He only had a year and a half out, Trev. Jesus, he's not. Jesus, I don't want him as a manager. Full stop. Then if he's forgotten everything in 18 months.
Trev's a slag. I'm sure it was on the main road toilet wars.
I thought you said toilet roll. I was going to say there was no toilet roll at main road. You're not getting Enrique, or we're not getting Enrique Lewis. Enrique's signing a new deal at PSG. See, that's the other thing as well. It has to be Luis Enrique. No, it doesn't. You know, part of it is because people don't want Maresca. Let's get it straight. People don't want Enzo Maresca as manager. And that's another factor of the Pep thing.
You know what?
If this was Luis Enrique, people would be like, yeah, off you go in the sunset, enjoy yourself for getting Enrique. Maresca, no.
I've got the perfect analogy. All the talk about Maresca is a bit like the toilets in the Kippax. You never knew where it started.
That's true.
Because there was piss for about 10 yards before you got there. That's the most painful joke anyone will ever make in 2026.
People pissing up your house.
Look, Ariano, I do want Maresca rated. I have an agenda.
The toilet itself was like a token effort, wasn't it?
Everyone's doing this. Right, predictions.
It's like Morgan Gibbs White this all over again, this talk.
I fucking wanted him. I wanted him.
So did I, Martin, but I'm not going to say that on here. I'll get rinsed.
You know what? It's like Morgan Gibbs White. It's that naughty word. You know, like that forbidden fruit. You're like, I want a Morgan Gibbs White, but I'm not going to be the guy who puts my head on the parapet and says I want him because I've got standards.
Level.
I don't want that. It's like Jesus. Right. Are you going down Saturday, Dana? I presume you are if you're going to Bournemouth.
Yes, yeah, I'm there, yeah. Wembley again for a change.
Are you coming back and then going back down?
I'm doing a full day, so driving down in the morning, coming back at night.
Oh, see, I'm driving down Saturday. I'm on the coach on Tuesday with Nick Jackson and Dante. We're all on the coach on Saturday, so Tuesday.
Why aren't you all staying? Why aren't you all staying? I'd stay. I'd find an Airbnb in Bournemouth.
I'd love to, but I'd love a
Do you know what?
days.
Me and some of my mates were looking at doing. When we was going to Burnley, actually, I was looking at it on the coach. It was about 28 quid to do it. Fly to Magaluf, Alicante, and then go into Bournemouth and get the coach back to Manchester. And it was 28 quid. I was seriously considering doing it after Wembley.
Was it on that? Was it the Magic Bay or whatever?
I'm going to be doing a shitload of that. I will be doing a shitload of that next season for away games if I can get tickets.
Well, I think the coach was 40 quid to go down the coach. It was cheaper to do that flying. Went just go Alicante for them. Go, as a stopover.
Get your duty free. Get your duty free sorted. Make a profit. Sell all your dodgy fags in the pub afterwards.
We are 3 likes away from 150. If you've not hit that, if your thumb button is not lit, please make sure it is 3 away from 150, which would be amazing on a live. By the way, I do want to put, I know people are saying, oh, I'm asking for super chats. I'm not. The options are there. We don't ever have to do it. Just put a goal up doesn't mean we have to do it. We are trying to get hold of a sponsor for the channel for next year to help improve everything else. We are trying, because people know this is now my job. This is one of my main jobs now. So, got to put a bit of food on the table for the kiddies. So, we are trying. That's what we're doing. So, please don't get offended. I'll think, oh, he's asking for money. I'm just reminding people it is an option. That is all. We appreciate just liking it helps massively into us. So, we do thank you for that. Right. Pardon?
We did it for Tarek, didn't we? We got him to 500.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I'm gonna go 3-0 on Saturday. I'm going for a smashing.
I'd rather ration one of those goals for.
Why can't you have 3-0? Why can't you just let me have
3-0? 2-0 and have a goal for added to the next score.
Yeah, I was going to go 3-0, but I'll go 3-1.
See, I did think a smash up, and I've had in my head 4-0.
4-0.
I think he's going to make a statement with it. I honestly think he's making a statement.
You've got more arrogant than me there. Yeah. You've got one extra.
I just got it. If it was that 3-0 the other night against Palace. I know they weren't very good and whatnot, but I think he's on it now, looking to make a statement.
Thank you very much, Louis. I appreciate that, Louis Gomez. And do you know what's scary, by the way, Danny? We've played far better than that this season and drawn one each.
Yeah, so with me. A few games.
Do you know that's how crazy it is? We go back to the Forest game at home, Chelsea at home, Brighton at home. We had 27, 28 chances. Couldn't put the ball in the net. And then the last few games, we're scoring 3 goals a game, and we're not creating as many chances as we did previously anymore.
Story about
it's weird.
The thing is that players were running in spaces that they should have been all season.
Yeah.
We've just got more goal options. That's why I'm thinking that is now. Even if he brings like a Savvy off the bench, one that he scored the other night, he might score. So that's why I'm thinking of it. Like we go at him strong, hit him, and then we've got people who can make a difference on the bench who are starting to make a difference. That's why I'm thinking that it's just kind of relentless from start to finish.
Yep.
Whereas before it was literally strong 11, bench isn't that good. Oh, hang on, we're going to throw it away now.
Andre, thank you very much for becoming a new member. You know what? I found it again, so we're going to play it.
I'm emotional. I mean, this is a dream come true. All these guys deserve. All these guys are on here.
Do you know what? We play that more. Rodri's going to sign his contract.
Play it 10 times.
So I'm just going to keep playing it now because Rodri and Pep are going to sign up. So big up to you, sponsored by your local private. Do you know what? I know it's a bit different, but I have this. Is why I love having Trev on now because this is what I've always wanted. A bit of deep thinking. Let's go tactics. Really look at things. Otherwise, you're just doing like the online stuff. I'll have debates with anyone. One thing I want to do, and I need to do this publicly because it's the kind of person I am. Things got a little bit rowdy last night on a space, and I want to personally apologise to Trev.
No, you don't need to.
No, things got said that got taken the wrong way, and I understand how it would get addressed the wrong way. So I just wanted to do that.
I had a flounce. I flounced.
No, you did. You did what one of my ex-girlfriends did and pissed off.
I had a flounce.
You went to make a cuppa, didn't he?
1-0. Oh,
something like that. I just didn't come back.
Do you know what?
I must have missed that.
Oh, yeah. No, I did one.
Your microphone was underwater yesterday. I don't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
Sounded like you were going through, you were in some jungle or
Osmo
going
Pocket 3, they've just dropped in. Osmo Pocket 3, they've just dropped in price, by the way, because the Pocket 4's come out and it's no better. It's the same shit.
I had earbuds in, that's what it was.
I'm all right with my luminous dildo, as people seem to want to call it.
I'll tell you what, for the last game of the season, the last game of the season, I'm going to treat you all to my dulcet tones through a Neumann TLM 103. and I will sound like a god. That's the mic I use for most everything. But
I would Chelsea looking better, Laville. Eddie Ball's looking better.
They'll look good against Spurs, and they're done.
Foden's back now. We're good. HC Martin's letting out Taxa. Think City won by 1 goal. He's gone for 3-1. Look, people have gone 3-1, 3-1, 3-0. Thanks, Scottish Rodri. Rodri's out now unless on royalties. Trav and Denny are wonderful additions and a breath of fresh air. There you go.
Well, thank you, Dash.
Governor, you're just a wanker who wants to go at me on screen in my own channel, you cheeky little bastard.
I'm just a pain in the
You
ass.
think I'm letting you get away with what you did the other night on Blues Down Under? You can get lost, sunshine.
You really have a go.
I thought I poured some balm on this, but obviously not.
No, I didn't think I did anything wrong.
Governor turned into Alan for 5 minutes. It's this Australian thing. It lingers
Must
around.
be the age.
He was blowing bubbles. ASMR, Jesus, I don't know what you lot are after.
ASMR.
We're back to Michael Jackson again. Right, no, but thank you all so much.
I've got no more Michael Jackson jokes. I'm out.
I will be honest, there is no show tomorrow with me and Tone. I really know my dad's got a little bit worse. So there's a procedure tomorrow. So I'm going to be at the hospital all day. Then I'm somewhere in the evening. And then Saturday, I'm obviously at Wembley. We'll be back Sunday night with the post-match. I will do a short on the way back from Wembley. Look, he's listening, Gov. He's listening. Real Britannia's listening. Alan, just turn of the whining. So, yeah, thank you very much. I know people do it and I appreciate it. And I have been telling him all. And by the way, can I say this? I don't know who you are, and I will speak to you when I come in tomorrow. But to the patient who came to see me on the ward and said hello, and the nurses who said hello, thank you for the lovely kind words that you said about me. Because I don't expect to go into an hospital to visit my dad, and everyone asks me, am I some TikTok YouTuber guy? Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate the support, and you're doing an amazing job. And I will talk about it all if my dad gets home and sorted. I will.
Someone asked about my guitar. That's a Candy Apple Red Corona plant Strat, about 1998. It's called Little Rita. Oh no, that one's called Rita. One of my other guitars is called Little Rita.
I don't get this name in your guitars. Baffles me. But listen.
Hang on. I've been asked about it. It's getting a fucking close up now. Look at that. Isn't she lovely? Just look at her.
We're back.
Rita, it's your moment to shine, darling. Look at her. She's beautiful. I love her more than I've ever loved a woman. I said, I love her more than I've ever loved a woman. Yeah. I said,
here we go.
What else would you want at 1:30 in the morning? This is
Thank you very
entertaining.
much, and I hope your mum and dad are doing better, mate. Thank you very much, Oriano, for coming on. Ozzy, Rich, and that earlier. Pat will be back next week, hopefully. He's just got a lot of work on at the minute. You know, Pat, he likes to have all his time away. Then now he has to work to make up for his play time that he does. And so, yes, we will get back to something. The Blues, that the 90 minutes with Tone will be back the 22nd. We're going to do, and then he's here at the last minute.
Are you guys still on? This is great.
Yeah, we're going to do a huge
I blame
show.
Danny.
On the 22nd of May, we're doing a huge show, me and Tone, where we're just going to go into everything. Everything. Transfers.
Can you give me a recap on the transfers? Did you drop anything on transfers, Martin?
No, there isn't.
I need another brew if we're doing that.
There is nothing on transfers. I'm not doing a space. You can all piss off. I'm not doing a space.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
I want to
get
sleep.
no work done when you do a space.
I will do a space over the weekend. I'll tell you what, I'll do a space on the way back from Wembley.
Jeez,
how about that?
Like
Martin, I will not be there. I will be doing something with somebody.
We heard last night.
Yeah, Martin, just a quick
dark,
one, Martin. Can you make the show shareable? Because I'll do some edits of it and clip up some of the best bits because this one's been funny. If you don't mind, I'll just do some edits.
Are you logged in? Are you logged in under your channel?
On on
So when you go in
Kids,
StreamYard, are you logged
getting
in
on
through your
technical now,
YouTube
Danny.
channel?
am I logged in on StreamYard?
Yeah, because I know you're on StreamYard because you
Yeah,
StreamYard
should be
link.
logged in. Yeah, I must
Are
be
you
logged
sure you've got YouTube channel? You?
Well,
Do you have to put 10p in and wind it as you go?
At
Yes,
Kids.
what I'll do is it takes about 2 hours to download, and I'll share it to you.
Yeah, just put it up on a Google Drive or whatever your sharing platform, preferred sharing
5
platform
minutes
is.
later, Matt. No, I'm not going to be doing. Mate, I need sleep at some point.
Well,
I do.
I'll try and do a highlight show if I get time.
Look at me, space. No, there is no space.
No, I get no work done.
I need sleep. I promise we'll do on Saturday night. Save trip to Wembley. Again, we're going to do it. Bring that cup double home because the under-18s did it for us tonight. Manchester is blue. Our young boys did it. Our women are on for a double. We're on for a double. The under-18s have done the double. Doubles all round. As always.
Could be.
As always, up the Blues. Say Carol.
See ya.
Take